If you want to get in on some actions with sports more than just watching it, well, I want to tell you about the easiest way to do that. It's the Underdog Fantasy and their Pick'em game. So just pick higher or lower on your favorite or least favorite player stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Yes, 20 times your money. So Underdog keeps it super simple. It's super fun with their easy-to-use website and mobile apps. You can pick between 2 and 5 players to fill out your pick'em entry, get every pick right, and take home some cold hard cash. They even have boosters on there as well, where you can win even more winnings on there if you pick a certain player's stats correctly. So use the code 10K10K on sign up and get your first deposit doubled up to $100 by Underdog. That's right, up to $100 doubled by Underdog when you sign up using the code 10K10K. So once again, that's code 10K, 10K on the Underdog app, or go to www.underdogfantasy.com to begin playing today.
On this episode of It's a Bit, I'm recording the intro from my phone late at night, well after we recorded the show, because I forgot to record the intro. You know what? Some people make mistakes. It happens. We're joined by a good friend, Barstool Chief, part of Barstool Chicago. We're going to get into some Chicago sports stuff. He participated in the Crazy Game of Hockey charity event here this summer. We hung out with him, kind of go over a recap of that. We're also going to go into various Minnesota sports topics. The Wolves finally suffered a loss to the Pelicans, and Timberwolves Brazil caught a loss from the Pelicans Twitter account. We're also going to go into the Wild. They actually tied the Vikings the other night. Brodeen's out on LTIR. Whole lot of stuff to get into. We're going to end the show by doing our Underdog Pick'em segment and Bit of the Week, including all the sports promotions bits. So all of that and more on It's a Bit.
To the top, never going down, don't wait for the drop. Never stand still, that's the motto. Yeah, brand new bands for the auto. Oh, foot to the ground, full throttle. Big energy for the night like lotto. Damn, y'all talk lots, never this quiet. Life like a Seinfeld plot. Vault full of songs, all of them bombs. Something like a minefield guy. Boom. Get it, tickets running out quick. Bet it, never get it out big.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to It's a Bit, presented by 10,000 Takes. My name is Bossman, joined by just journalist Jake. I think producer Cam is going to be busting through this door Kramer style at some point. I think he said he got off work at 6, so he's just going to. Have people here ever seen what Cam looks like? No, there's been a few episodes where he's been on camera.
Yeah, there's been a couple times. I think back at the old studio in Plymouth, people saw the mullet shins this dude.
Yeah,
but I don't think they've seen him like on the podcast. He should have been on some. He's been on videos.
There was an episode we did where it was just me and him, and he was on it.
Yes.
I was gonna say, because it'd just be hilarious if no one out there who watched the YouTube knew what he looked like, and you just saw this guy with a huge mullet come busting in the back.
There's going to be some people, but I think the people that probably do watch our YouTube are dedicated enough to have seen him.
Yeah.
But for the people that have never seen him, like this is your first time watching our YouTube version, you're in a world. You're in for a surprise. You're in for a surprise with Cameron, because he's a demolition derby guy with a mullet thing going on. So yeah, it's very interesting.
I've also stepped down as the head coach of the Minnesotan Cup team. I'll be in Grand Forks watching the hockey squad up there that just got swept by Colorado College. Hopefully tickets went down. But Cam has graciously accepted the offer to be the interim head coach for this year's team. And he said he wanted to be like John Hines. I'm like, well, you have to shave your head then. And he's like, fuck you, I'm never shaving this mullet.
Can you imagine him bald?
Well, he said he's going to buy a bald cap.
Okay.
How well do those work, though?
They don't work well. That's not the real thing. He might as well not do a bald cap. He needs to just shave his head if he's going to do the bald bit. Otherwise, just go with the mullet.
What did he say today about if he shaved his head? I'm going to look at the messages.
Yeah,
he said he made an absolutely outrageous reference about his own head. So I basically told him in the Discord. Marlo said it's brutal that I was stepping down as coach. I go, well, we're 1-6 under me. Like, I'm doing this for the betterment of the team. And then I told Cam, shave that mullet, big boy. He goes, if I do that, you guys will have Caillou as a head coach, if you know who Caillou is.
Yeah, Caillou,
cartoon.
Yeah. He's just saying he looks like Caillou. Oh, my God. You know what?
Hairless.
I'd be fine with that, Caillou. Well, yeah, because Cam's the facial hair situation isn't the best either right now at his age. But I will say that we will field the team of some sorts in some way at that point. We might not be playing in the Minnesotan Cup. It might be the U.S. Pond Hockey Championships, which sounds absurd, but we'll be playing in something. We just don't know exactly yet because
There's going to be hockey played outside.
There's going to be hockey played outside, and you'll be able to attend if you want to watch us. I think the U.S. Pond Hockey Championships will be more centrally located if we play in that, and those things are always those are fucking insane. And I've looked into it more, and the U.S. Pond Hockey Championships this year at like Phelan Park or something in St. Paul on some lake, and I was talking to someone, and they said they just have like 2 or 3 beer tents.
Beer?
Like,
oh yeah,
just beer
yeah.
tents.
See that? I mean, nothing
crazy.
Like, we always do the Minnesotan Cup. Corey from the Minnesotan throws that on, but I think that this tournament is significantly bigger in terms of the amount of people that come out.
Oh yeah,
that stat supports it.
Yes, it's way bigger. It's pond hockey style, right? So if you don't know, like, it's literally you're shooting into a box, which is very fucking hard.
Yeah, there's no goalie, so it's
no goalie.
You basically just have to shoot it in the 5-hole.
Yeah,
normally where a goalie would leave it open is between the legs. That's the size of the box.
Exactly. So it's very tough, but we're trying to field the team for that. We don't know. We might be playing the weekend before the Minnesotan Cup or on the weekend of the Minnesotan Cup, and that's why we can't do the Minnesotan Cup, but we'll see.
Long story short, Caillou is going to be
coaching
the team. We almost need to do the jackass bit where we just sneak up behind him and shave his head.
I think we should too. Yeah, like the Jaws.
Yeah.
Get a razor blade and shave his head.
We'll just do that.
We'll start it off for him, and it's gonna look so bad that he's just gonna shave the rest of his head.
He's gonna be forced to shave it, just like Pedro in Napoleon Dynamite. Remember, he shaves all of his hair because he's hot?
Yep.
We'll just get Cam really warm, or you'll just jackass him in the back of the head.
I think that's what we need to do. And we get Caillou as head coach.
Caillou as head coach.
Caillou. I think that'd be hilarious. He says, like, you'll have Caillou as head coach. He says that like it's a bad thing. No, we'd fucking love that.
That's pretty close to the name Jordan Kyrou, who's a pretty good hockey player currently.
Yeah, and Caillou was an awesome show growing up. So, you know what? I'm all for it, Cameron.
Yeah.
Bitchy.
He had loving parents and loving grandparents, which not everyone can say that, Jake.
No, not everybody on this planet.
All right, let's start with the Minnesota Rundown segment. We have the Timberwolves. So we fell to the Pelicans last night, but still number 1 team in the league. What is it, 17-5 still, I think?
Yeah.
Timberwolves Brazil caught a stray from the Pelicans main account. Did you see that?
I don't. From yesterday?
Yeah. So traditionally in sports social media, whenever a team wins or loses, the account posts a tweet about the result of the game and posts a graphic of the score. The New Orleans Pelicans page posted the graphic of the score and said, "At least we don't," or "No Timberwolves Brazil video today." So it's insane how. I mean, I know we talk about him every single time we bring up the Wolves, but the amount of reach that guy has got, I think it's just because it's the Timberwolves in Brazil. It's so fucking random, and then you get that plus the disturbing videos. I think that's what makes it work.
Yeah, I don't. I think Timberwolves Brazil is the. Let's just say I don't think anyone expected this sort of account to. This trend,
which I think is the point.
Come out
which I think is the point of
season.
Like it's very fucking random.
It's very random
that there's a Timberwolves fan base, let alone a fan base that large in the country of Brazil, which is solely a hockey or not hockey, football, soccer.
Well, I get that, like the Timberwolves, like all these pages have, all these teams have, like the Vikings, they have like Vikings UK or
Vikings Mexico,
but they literally maybe share Vikings content from the Minnesota Vikings page, or maybe show fans that live in that area. I would have thought when I first saw Timberwolves Brazil, it'd be like, oh, it's just a fan page, legitimate fan page in Brazil, and it maybe show fans in Brazil, and they would repost highlights. But no, it's these videos that are very unique.
Did you see the one the other day where it was like a stuffed animal, and as they push down on the stuffed animal's neck, like a penis head pops out?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
And it was like first in the NBA, but it's all in Portuguese too. That's the other thing. But yeah, it's so funny that other people in the NBA who run accounts and all this know about Timberwolves Brazil. Like it's gone beyond just our great little state of Minnesota. So that was fan base. Also, over the week, the Timberwolves signed veteran Lance Stevenson, who, if you don't know or don't remember who that is, famously in whatever NBA Finals it was, he was the one who was blowing on LeBron's face.
Yeah,
or blowing in his ear, right? During
when he was he on Golden? He playing on his team, right?
No. He was on OKC, I think, when LeBron was on the Cavaliers.
And
Here,
wait,
I'm gonna Google it.
I think it was OKC and the Heat in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, that actually sounds right.
So then I think that was when LeBron was on the Heat, and then he was he was trying to intimidate him.
Disrespect.
Yeah,
Lance Stevenson.
Well,
he's
funny.
He's done more than just this. I mean, he's basically a Pat Bev, Draymond Green. He's more of like I'm not going to be super good at basketball, so I'm just going to be a dick and get in their head, and that's a role.
Yeah,
that's certainly a role.
Kind of like the enforcer in hockey.
Oh boy, he did a stint in Puerto Rico. I think.
Oh no!
And I think the G League team. It wasn't even the main Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't know if they'll call him up or how that works. We're not basketball guys by trade, but he signed a deal with the Iowa Wolves.
Yes,
the Des Moines Wolves.
Yeah, Iowa Wolves. They play Wells Fargo Center where the Iowa Wild play, and
yeah.
I don't know if they intend to bring him up. I don't know what the deal is there. I mean, where was he last before he brought him in?
It says Puerto Rico.
That's so weird.
He signed with Leones de Ponce in Puerto Rico in the 2022 season. Actually, he had a stint with the Pacers in the 2022 season.
Okay.
He started off in early 2023 playing in Puerto Rico, which is where most Americans who are trying to perform tax evasion flee to. That's where people usually go. So he went down there, probably made some money, didn't pay some taxes, and now he's in Iowa.
Yeah, that's a big change of scenery going from Puerto Rico. So I'm looking it up. Like, does Puerto Rico have its own basketball league? Apparently, they have the Baloncesto Superior Nacional, abbreviated as BSN, is the first tier level professional men's basketball league in Puerto Rico.
That sounds like the no-show from Shorzy.
Literally says like the no-show basketball version, but in Puerto Rico. I didn't even think that country was big enough for a state or territory.
I'm convinced it's a ton of people who just are sick of paying taxes because there's like no tax laws.
There's no taxes, and they probably get like a guy like a former NBA player like Lance Stevenson probably gets paid decent money from these guys.
Yeah,
and can go down there and pay no taxes.
But what's funnier to me now is that he's playing for the Iowa Wolves. Like, can you imagine you're just in small town Des Moines? I mean, we've been there. We were there last year for the Iowa Wild game. And you're like in the local Target or something. You just see fucking Lance Stevenson of all people just walk. A guy who's been in the NBA Finals multiple years. A person they call a veteran who can bring championship pedigree to a squad. Is just in Iowa. He's just existing in Iowa. That's fucking hilarious.
He's trying to bring a G League title to Des Moines, or you're out at like a bar or something down there, and you just see Lance Stevenson with just the Iowa Wolves.
The Iowa Wolves, which the Iowa Wolves logo is just. I mean, I guess it's like the Iowa Wild. It's a slight adjustment to the Wolves logo, but we need a Timberwolves. We need a Brazilian Iowa Wolves page.
Yes.
We need to recommend that to the gentleman who runs the page, which that would be hilarious.
Iowa Wolves Brazil.
Iowa Wolves Brazil, yeah.
Brazil.
And the videos are even more fucked up when they win.
Because
like it's borderline illegal what they're posting.
Because it's the G League, so no one gives a shit, honestly.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
The other funny thing I noticed with this story was that when someone uploaded it, that this was happening, this Lance Stevenson deal, people in the comments were saying, what a loser, like he's just ring chasing. The fact that people are saying that, I mean, it's great. I'm not complaining right now, but it's fucking insane that we live in an era where people say that playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves organization is ring chasing, which it kind of is. Like if you're looking to get in on a team who could make a run this year, the Timberwolves are that team right now, number one in the NBA.
But let's also look at it historically. I don't think you label a guy who's trying to get back in the NBA and goes to a team to win a ring right away. You don't look at the Timberwolves, no matter how they start, and be like, they're going to win an NBA championship when we have been historically atrocious.
Well, Jake, he may have made the fatal mistake of not doing the research.
Yeah, he might not have realized, like, oh, they're 17-5, but this team hasn't made it past. They haven't been made it past the first round since 2004.
I'm still convinced that most superstars in any sport don't even know that Minnesota's a state. They probably think it's like a city, like a suburb of Chicago or something.
Yeah.
I guarantee that he thought we were an expansion team in like 2017 or 2018.
He might have thought the Iowa Wolves were the Minnesota Timberwolves.
That
he might have thought He might not have known what he signed up for.
Can you imagine? He flies into Minneapolis and he's like, all right, who's here to pick me up? They're like, buddy, you're supposed to be about 4 hours south. And he's like, what do you mean? Oh, you guys play that far away from the cities? No,
You guys play in Iowa?
We're talking about the G League. What the hell is the G League? Is it similar to like the G spot at the strip club? No, this is a minor league basketball.
The G League? Is that some sort of strip club membership deal or what? Like, oh my gosh, dude!
There's a chance that Lance Stevenson doesn't even know that he's not playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
There's a chance he doesn't know that he's not playing in the NBA.
He's gonna show up and Luka Garza is gonna be sitting there. He's gonna be like, "Oh, are you Karl Anthony Towns?"
Yeah.
He's like, "No."
Man, you look way different on TV.
You're way whiter in person.
Yeah, man, I didn't know that. Man, that's crazy what TV does to people nowadays.
Oh shit,
that would be hilarious.
Yeah, so this whole thing is very bizarre.
It is very strange.
I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if they're gonna. How do they? I know they do call-ups in basketball, but how does it work? Is it like hockey where you have to be able to afford the contract, or?
I don't think it works exactly like
only
hockey.
Cam was here. We need Cam to bust through that door Kramer style.
Here's how I think it works. Blah, 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 blah. Knowledge about it. That's all we need to know.
That is how it goes.
That's what will go from producer Cam. But I don't think it works like hockey. I don't think it's got two-way thing. I think they can call him up. I think there's the option to, I guess. I mean, Luka Garza's always on the bench.
Yeah, like when there's injuries and stuff, like what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, he can just show up to games and dress nice like Luka Garza. That's what I'm convinced he does.
Yeah, just be the hype man. They said that there was one spot on the G League Timberwolves team for him that he took. I guess his intention is to get called up with the Wolves, but what if he's dog shit? I mean, he was playing in Puerto Rico last year.
Yeah, I don't expect for him to be that good unless he just went there for personal reasons and he said to hell with the NBA and now he's actually still pretty good.
He's gonna hate the taxes here. If he went to Puerto Rico to be rich, he's gonna be poor here.
He's gonna be in a world of hurt before he realizes that you're playing in Minnesota. So
Yeah. I guess if his residency is still in Puerto Rico, he could own a house there. He might have just moved there for 6 months so that he could become a resident and just have a permanent house there so that he doesn't have to pay taxes. That's not a bad idea.
Permanent address.
People do that all the time with Vegas and Florida.
Get a nice little condo here and then that's your permanent address.
Just go there like once a year when it's cold here and you have some time off.
Exactly. Lance
Holy
Stevenson
shit.
might be smart.
Maybe he is smart. Maybe he knows what he's doing.
Maybe he does.
Okay.
We'll see.
It took us a while to get there.
Yeah.
Jaden McDaniels is back. I'm pretty sure he missed his first 7 3-pointers last night, which he's coming back from injury and he's more of a defensive player, but I couldn't help but watch that and be a little frustrated with it. I mean, I guess coming back isn't always the easiest thing, but you know, we've been talking on this show specifically about how there's been such a void without him, and then I watched him shoot 3-pointers and I thought maybe we should hide a basketball from him for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, maybe his wrist from last year is still affecting him. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe he needs to punch a wall again.
He needs to punch something. Maybe he needs to punch Rudy because Rudy didn't play very good last night either.
Yeah, he just needs a reset on his wrist, I think. Just punch it. Maybe something will pop back into place.
Yeah.
But I'm convinced that could be also an issue.
Turn your sound down.
I'm sorry. We're getting Discord notifications.
Classic.
Yeah. But no, Jaden McDaniels, remember we always got
from Coach Caillou.
Yeah, Coach Caillou. It might be from Coach Caillou. Who knows? I'm gonna start calling him Coach Caillou. That is a
we're gonna call it to him when he sits down.
No, I'm gonna be a coach. Yeah, when he sits down. Hey, what's up, Coach Caillou?
Like we're shaving.
We're
shaving that fucking head.
Your head's gonna be shaved for whatever team you're gonna be coaching. Either a U.S. Pond Hockey Championship team or a Minnesotan Cup team, and you are going to be shaving your head if you want to pull the John Hines bit. No fucking ball cap.
You and John Hines are gonna have the same number of hairs on your skull.
Yep. We're gonna make sure of it,
and that's final.
Whether we
or the offer's off the table. I'll fucking coach from a TV screen like Plankton's girlfriend and
Karen
and SpongeBob. I'll coach from North Dakota that way if Cam doesn't shave that.
Yep, we'll do it virtually. I think we figured it out during COVID in certain ways with teams, so we can figure it out then. But
yeah.
The Wolves didn't win the in-season tournament, by the way, so we're fucked.
Let's just give up.
Yeah.
Should we just stop now?
Remember we were watching?
Dude, it was so cringy.
It's like, why are we're presenting this like they won the NBA championship? What's the point of the NBA championship then?
They should have
this is going to be just as big.
So the whole thing was, it's cash, and cash obviously motivates players, specifically NBA and NFL players and baseball players, it seems like. I feel like hockey players aren't motivated by money at all. I mean, a little bit to the point of their agents, but the whole thing was like, we want to incentivize the players to try harder in one of the more dead times of the year when our viewership goes down by offering $500,000 for this in-season tournament. We can change up the courts. Cool, that all made sense. You don't need a fucking trophy. You don't need just just hand them the checks on the bench, and then they can walk away. They did the trophy presentation. I think the Lakers came out and said, even if we win the in-season tournament, we're not hanging a banner. So kudos to them for doing the right thing and not doing what my Indianapolis Colts would have done by hanging a banner.
Yeah,
but,
and then speaking of bald people, Adam Silver doesn't need to come out and talk either.
No,
like they won the NBA championship.
That's a waste of a flight for him. He should stay in New York and do his job rather than wasting a whole trip on presenting that trophy.
I thought it was just a bit much, honestly. And if the Timberwolves won, great. I'd be like, great, but like, what is this? This is kind of gross. So, I mean, good for the teams, the players. I think it did probably motivate some players a little bit. Like you said, in one of the dead times of the year to prevent load management and all this shit we see with NBA players, but. It was kind of weird. It was cringy.
It was very odd.
But Timberwolves didn't win.
Coach Caillou's here. I got to go.
Coach Caillou's here? Are we pausing, or am I just going to ramble on with my thoughts?
You're going to ramble. Good luck.
All right, I'm going to ramble by myself while Bossman gets Coach Caillou into the office because he can't break in and or does not have a key. But anyway, I think as I'm by myself in the studio for a few moments here, I think the NBA championship is bullshit. Hey, while is out, I just want to say there's a big secret we got to reveal on Bossman and producer Cam. They're working on some insider trading deals on behind the scenes with 10K. They're money laundering. They're money laundering money as we speak. I didn't want to say this while they're in the room, but they're money laundering through this company, and I think it's total bullshit. I'm going to run for president and prevent that from happening. So I can assure you that that's not going to happen with this company. But yeah, I just want to make sure that everyone's aware of that while I ramble here, while Bossman picks up Coach Caillou from the elevator because he's doesn't know how to get into buildings apparently. But I want to make sure that you're all aware that there is money laundering going around in this industry, in this company, and that we got to be careful who you're messing with. But if he does find out about this, I might. Let's just say if I'm missing tomorrow, call your local authorities because it could be very dangerous situation that I found myself into because they might have found out or listened to this podcast. So I just realized this is all recorded, so I might be fucked, honestly, if they're gonna find out about this little scheme they've been doing. But I just gotta say it to the world that that's what's been happening right now. But I appreciate everyone's gracious attention as I give this speech. This is the last time you'll hear from me. I'll probably be signing out here in a few moments. But not really. That was all a joke. We're waiting for Bossman to let in Coach Caillou. I think the in-season tournament is bullshit, by the way. It's fucking stupid. It's fucking dumb. It's stupid. It sucks. NHL in-season tournament. That would also suck. I can hear Coach Caillou laughing right now. I think they're approaching the studio. Uh-oh. I think they're getting closer. They're coming in. Hey, I may or may not, in this pointless rambling, I might have just incriminated you.
Good God. What'd you say?
I said that Bossman and Cam are laundering money, are using 10,000 takes to launder money.
For what? We don't make enough money to launder anything.
I didn't disclose.
Okay.
But I also said I was joking.
Coach Caillou's here, but
not.
he's in the fucking bathroom now.
I heard him laughing.
Sure he has diabetes.
Is that what you call it?
Well, he pisses like 30 times a day.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
probably
or
doesn't drink enough
gonorrhea or
water.
syphilis or something. Or he needs to.
Did you talk about the Wolves more?
I talked about money laundering, and then I talked a little bit about the Wolves and the in-season tournament, how it's bullshit, and then if the NHL implemented it, I would hate it.
Yeah, it would. It would probably suck. Yeah. And like I said, I don't think hockey players are motivated by money.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. So that wouldn't do anything.
They're only chasing one meaningful trophy, which is the Stanley Cup.
Lord Stanley Cup. I think you could put a tournament in there. I mean, they don't need it right like in the middle of the season to motivate them. They just will keep playing the game of hockey.
They would play even if they took the Stanley Cup away and said you're just going to play hockey for no reason. They'd still do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they love it. Final thing I have on the Wolves, the Darkness Retreat bit. Remember, I said I was going to go on the Darkness Retreat in Oregon if they win the first round of the playoffs. Not looking great. New evidence has come out, by the way. USA Today just released an article that said, according to USA Today, Aaron Rodgers spent days in total darkness, and so did these people. Many say don't try it. It was mostly people who hate themselves, so I don't hate myself, so I should be fine. But apparently it's not very fun, and I think that's kind of the whole point. But, yeah, I mean, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to sit in total darkness for 3 days and just say fuck it if we make it to the second round, which right now it's looking like that could happen. But Minnesota sports are still Minnesota sports.
Yeah, I mean, they'll, I am very happy right now that the Wolves are obviously number one in the NBA, and they're on track to be a number one seed, and everybody will be happy, but it could be a Milwaukee Bucks situation like last year, and we'll lose to the 8 seed. So I could see that happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very easily.
For sure. All right, let's move on. Now let's kind of get more in the mid department here. Oh, there's Coach Caillou.
Coach Caillou's here. I think you need to shave the fucking head. I think that's great. You say that like it's a bad thing.
I'm taking the fucking head off.
I'm taking the fucking hair off.
You gotta get a bald cap.
No, either shave it or don't do a bald cap. Bald cap won't work. It's just faking it. You need to literally do the bit or just go with the
those things
mullet
work
guy.
though? Is it going to be very obvious that your hair is just stuffed into
exactly.
basically
They're not
a swimmer's thing?
Yeah, they're not very effective. You need to literally just shave your head or not do it at all. Okay, then you're just going to be mullet man then, or Shinzis for as our coach. You're not
At least
John Hines.
I would still say invest in the bald cap and try it and see what it looks like. If it looks cringy, then don't do it. But if
I think it's going to look very cringy.
If it looks funny, I think you got to go for it.
Might as well just shave your head.
I can't shave my head, guys.
Okay, fine. Sorry.
All right. Vikings 3, Raiders 0. Vegas was basically just a more expensive home game. And this was debatably one of the most boring football games I've ever watched in my entire life, next to Gophers, Iowa, which is pretty close to it.
But still not close. Still not that close. At least you had 22 total points in that game.
It's even funny. During the game, I was actually texting Dean Blandino because he was working it. He came on the screen a few times, and I let me just read you our conversation here quick. Because he came on the screen to, basically talk about one of the rulings. And I said, sorry you have to work this game. This is awful football. I'm actually rooting for a 0-0 tie. He responded, I'm definitely rooting for a 0-0 tie.
Yeah.
And then we researched it because we were at Bunny's, and apparently the last time two teams tied 0-0, which was 1943, before the conclusion of the Second World War. So there was a chance for us to make history on Sunday. Greg Joseph made the second field goal after missing the first one, and we were able to do it. But holy shit, that was tough. That was, a win's a win, but Josh Dobbs looked awful.
Yeah, he's been getting he's been slowly projecting downwards. Safe to say. I'm not surprised this has been happening, just because I noticed at the end of that near the end of the Saints game, when we couldn't score more than 3 points in that second half, I'm like, that didn't look good.
Yeah.
And I was a little concerned, okay, well, whatever. Then we go into the Broncos game, and sure enough, in the second half of the Broncos game looked like dog shit, and then it's just looked even worse against the Bears, and it's gone down even worse. So it's I was almost saying, I think I told you this, he looked really good. He looked much better against Atlanta when he was just thrown in there and didn't know the playbook, and just
that's what people are saying is
just let loose.
Is he a better quarterback when he doesn't know the playbook?
Yeah, he should just go out there and just play fucking backyard football.
They should never
style.
show him a playbook.
Yeah,
We got Big Dick Nick next week.
We do have Big Dick
we have
Nick.
our own Big Dick Nick. I mean, if Nick
they
Foles,
announced it.
Did they? Is it official?
It's official.
Nick
Yes.
Mullins is starting.
Dude, the whole bar was cheering when he finally went in. Remember that?
Yeah.
Nick Mullins,
Yeah,
we were waiting for it. This should have happened.
Bunnies erupted when Nick Mullins got put in. Which
Cripes.
the Josh Dobbs story was fun. He still delivered an enormous amount of value for what he did do. He was the last guy. They were going to put in Ty. Were they going to put in Ty Chandler next? Was that who was going to play?
Yeah.
Quarterback
He was the
next?
emergency quarterback.
Well, is Hall not cleared?
Well, no, I'm
He is, but-
talking in Atlanta. Remember?
Oh, in
Kirk
Atlanta.
IR, Mullins
Oh, yeah,
IR.
yeah.
Jaron Hall goes down with concussion. Josh Dobbs had to come in. This was 2 days after he got traded. He goes in without knowing shit, has to practice the cadences on the sideline, and goes win there and a win in New Orleans, which that was enough, I think, for a guy who you get at the deadline like Josh Dobbs. Now let's go back to the guys who have been on the team the whole year, who know stuff. And
Nick Mullins, this is his second year, and he's literally a just I don't want to use the word dumbed down, but like he's like a dumbed down version of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
In that the way he plays, he's
style.
bigger. His style is like Kirk Cousins. I don't think he has
And that's
the
what
accuracy.
this offense is meant for.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been built for a quarterback like Nick Mullins, and I always liked Nick Mullins. Like when we brought him in, I'm like, oh, he's an experienced backup. He's fine for a guy that can come in for a few weeks if Kirk goes out for a few weeks. I wasn't expecting him to be a guy to come in because I didn't think Kirk was going to be a guy to get injured for an entire season, but I was always confident Nick Mullins could be a guy to come in and be serviceable. But when you brought him in, though, and he started throwing the ball, I'm like, oh my gosh. This looks so much better.
He started throwing the ball down the field rather than in the air.
And the zip on the ball it's similar to, like, it was nice to see a
dart.
It was straight. Dobbs, you can throw the ball, but when he does, it almost looks like it's like a fucking ephus pitch or some shit.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a sinker. It goes up and then down quick. It's a weird ball. It's not sustainable in the NFL, I don't think. You need to zip on it, and Nick Mullins is the guy for now.
We need to find someone who can throw like Nick and Kirk and run like Dobbs, and then we're in.
Yeah.
I still just can't stop obsessively thinking about the guy who shaved his eyebrows for Josh Dobbs, for all the people who bought Josh Dobbs jerseys, especially the people who bought authentic ones from Fanatics that showed up with probably some misspelled letters and some backwards numbers. I can't stop thinking about all those people who bought in so hard just for this to be the conclusion of it. Like I said, I don't think anyone out there is rooting against Josh Dobbs or hates Josh Dobbs. I think it was an awesome story, but it's clearly over.
It's done.
And a lot of people are now in debt to the honeymoon phase of that, including the man who shaved his eyebrows off.
That's insane.
After beating Atlanta, like, it's great. It was a great win, and we didn't think we would see something like that without Kirk. I get it. But we saw people, 3 games in the Josh Dobbs era of the season at the Bears game wearing Dobbs jerseys
and
astronaut suits. But the people wearing like astronaut suits or whatever, but if you spend a shit ton of money on the astronaut suits or even the jerseys, you paid like $200 for a jersey, like those are the people that really fucking hated Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, for sure.
They hated him, and they're like, "Yeah, mobile quarterback." Okay, relax. Relax.
Speaking of this game, CBS Sports made a graphic of they said game of the year ? To the 3-0. Ready? So these were this was the drive chart. Punt, 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 missed field goal, punt, half, punt, fumble, punt, punt, field goal, INT, punt, fumble.
Jesus.
Dude, what?
Ryan Wright, and whoever the Raiders punter are, those guys just probably hit their bonuses for like number of punts delivered or yardage or hang
for the next 3 years.
All the stats are padded now thanks to this game. They just played a Big Ten West game.
It was like a punting match, but it was kind of fun to watch them both because they both fucking just annihilated the ball downfield.
Without mistake. Like, I thought eventually someone was going to have a shank or something for just
block.
how many punts they had to, or there'd be a punt or like a run back. No. Successful special teams, I guess. That's the thing. Everyone talks about how this was a boring game. Was this just an elite defensive special teams game?
What I don't get, it was like, they were talking about it on like KFAN afterwards, and a lot of people were talking about it. Like, what is Jimmy Garoppolo? Isn't he healthy?
No.
He's not?
No, he's out for the year, I thought.
I thought they were saying that he was available if they wanted to bring him in, and they just didn't.
I'm still confused at what his injury is as well.
I'm pretty sure they said he could have played.
He's on my fantasy football bench, and he's not listed as out or on IR.
Oh, maybe he could have been.
I think he's like a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
I guess someone was saying he was dressed on the sideline, or like could have played or dressed or something. Like Aiden O'Connell looked horrible.
He's got a broken cock because remember when that brothel basically came out and said like Jimmy Garoppolo is welcome here free of charge, like for prostitution services.
Just a bunch loads of just unprotected
his cock is broken.
It's probably burnt.
Yeah.
He is healthy. That makes no sense.
That
he might have syphilis.
They're tanking.
He might have herpes.
Then they're definitely he might have herpes too, and he has some sort of virus that they didn't want him on the field.
He's got an STI.
Yeah,
they don't call them STDs anymore. It's STIs.
STI. It
sounds in high school.
It sounds less offensive.
So much worse.
I know.
Sexually
STI.
transmitted infection sounds so much worse. Disease probably sounds worse.
That's why they changed it.
Yeah. All right. What else we got? Oh, yeah. So they scored just as many points as the Wild, which was hilarious. The Wild beat the Kraken at the Crack House that night, 3-rip in Seattle. And ironically enough about that is the team started passing around, I think we mentioned it last week, a helmet for like the player of the week or the player of the game in the Wild. And it came out in The Athletic today that Hartman bought that helmet on Amazon.
Really?
So,
yeah, what helmet was that?
it's the Viking
helmet. Yeah, okay, then we need to get one of those.
We should get one of those.
We need to figure out.
Apparently, it's really fucking heavy, though. Like, it's not comfortable to wear, which I guess it's not the point to just walk around and wear it. I think the ironic thing that I just realized now, too, is that we gave that helmet to someone in the locker room. I can't remember who got it on Sunday. Maybe it was probably Boldy. I think it was Boldy. He got the helmet on Sunday's game when we beat him in Seattle. Hartman bought that on Amazon, and Amazon is the leading sponsor for the Kraken. It's on their helmet. So,
okay, so
there's
that
irony.
makes sense. Jeff Bezos helped. Ultimately, it came back to bite him in the ass because we got something from Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
the Viking helmet.
But he took Hartman's money and didn't pay the warehouse workers for sure.
No, whatever.
I guess Bezos wins at the end of the day still, but
I still want to get that. I still want to get that helmet.
Yeah,
I think we should do it. But I think what Cameron? Come on,
Can you hand me the mouse, please?
Why?
it's not Cameron. That's Coach Caillou.
Oh yeah, Coach
he's gonna
Caillou.
shave his head.
Did you guys like that comment?
Coach Caillou. Well, you said it like it was so negative. Like I was saying, like you get Coach Caillou. I'm like, that's exactly what we're looking for.
Caillou is way more famous than anyone at this table.
What I meant to say is that like if I have a bald head, I'd look like Caillou.
Yeah, and that's not a bad
I think most
thing.
people look like Caillou, though. You could argue that John Hines looks like Caillou.
I mean, I have a huge, fat, round head.
That's funny, though.
That's funny.
It's hilarious.
So you need to do it. I think you need to go bald. Why?
Because I don't want to look like.
I think that would just
I
garner
think,
us
too,
another 10,000 followers.
You need to shave your eyebrows in solidarity of Josh
I
Dobbs.
barely have eyebrows as is.
So you should just do it.
Yeah.
You should have jumped on the train of shaving your eyebrows when Josh Dobbs
Yeah.
played amazing.
Imagine a video of Cam just in front of the camera, just in the mirror.
Like I said, dude, just really quick to close the door on the Josh Dobbs chapter of the Minnesota Vikings. When he had like a minute and a half left against the Broncos, and he could have done the 2-minute drill to win the game, I said, if he does this, I'm seriously considering shaving my eyebrows off. Like I would have done it, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it's for the best for just the people of Minnesota, how into it they get, that we didn't have to shave our eyebrows off. So
especially not this time of year when it's getting this cold. We don't want people hairless.
Yeah.
That's going to lead to a lot of death and famine.
Well, you want me hairless?
Yeah, it's fine. You'll be fine, though, Cam, if you're hairless. You'll be fine. I think we really want you hairless.
Yep.
Should just wax your body.
You prefer my body that way,
Yes.
Jake?
Yep. I want Coach Caillou.
Last thing I got to mention about the Vikings was whatever that play was that KOC called at the end. I get that they wanted it to look like they were kicking a field goal and then punt it to run down the clock. It was a fake field goal punt. So did Greg Joseph get a direct snap and then he punted it?
No,
I have to watch it
You have
again.
to watch it again, but I don't think Greg Joseph was the one who kicked it. I think it was the holder who was maybe
Stood up and
Ryan
kicked it?
Wright because I think Ryan Wright is the punter. I think he's the holder. So he got up and punted it, but I was terrified. Yeah, if you were watching this play, this was insane.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it was Ryan Wright who's the holder. It was a direct snap to him. He stood up. Oh, no, it was Greg Joseph.
Was it?
Yeah.
My gosh.
Here, zoom in on him.
Okay, let me go back.
So Greg Joseph stood up. Ryan Wright stood up too, which made it confusing. I think he was acting as a blocker if you zoom in on Ryan Wright, the holder.
Yeah, you're right. So it was a direct snap to Joseph, right?
And he did the tiniest little punt that went like 15 yards. I get he didn't want to do a touchback.
Yeah.
But
that's better than I don't
know why you don't just punt it and pin him at the one.
I remember they were showing on the replay with the broadcasters. They're like, I don't know why he didn't go left or try to go to the right and pin him. Knock the ball out of bounds, pin him deep.
There was
take some time
17
off.
seconds left. Do we not trust ourselves enough to hold them 99 yards in 17 seconds?
Or just kick the field goal. They have Aiden O'Connell wasn't doing jack shit unless they thought Jimmy Garoppolo was going to come in or something. But they had done shit.
All they needed was a field goal. But they had one timeout.
But in real time, that was such a bizarre play. I thought we fumbled the snap.
No, they had 0 timeouts with 17 seconds left.
Yeah.
The Raiders did. We could have pinned him at like the 10 to be safe.
Well, that's why they did it. But
I get it. It worked, but it was just it was the goofiest thing I think I've ever seen.
In real time, we were all expecting, our brains were expecting a field goal, a standard field goal. Let's go. And then that happens. Oh, yeah, the Kirk Colescash thing. We need to get
that's the next picture I see is Kirk Cousins holding up a chain that says Cole's Cash.
Someone texted me today saying that you need to. Oh my gosh. I don't know where we would get a Kohl's Cash change. Maybe we have to make one. You can get those Kohl's Cash stickers or whatever, and just go. And they're like, you need to get a Kohl's Cash chain and walk into Kohl's and just walk around. But dude, that's why I fucking love Kirk Cousins.
This is why we need to extend him.
Yes, just extend him.
We can draft the future. I get that people say we need to find out the future. Let's just draft someone in the first round. We'll get our quarterback.
People can
maybe
stop
it's Jaron Hall. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we need to have Kirk on the team for a few more years to keep some of these guys like Jefferson, Hawkinson around who we want to stick around.
Yep.
Because so many guys will leave if we just draft a rookie and get rid of everyone who's good.
I know.
But we need Kirk to stick around so we can keep seeing shit like this because it absolutely makes my day.
I know. Kirk is, we need the shenanigans. We need that personality. And I think, like we talked about, the last few weeks have proven that we definitely need Kirk Cousins back. At least try to bring him back, and hopefully the Achilles doesn't affect him and his ability to play. But, these last few weeks prove that we need Kirk Cousins back and we need his ability to throw the ball, but also just because of the Kohl's Cash bits.
Yep.
Just the chains. And just when he was going on the Manning cast, he's like, just puts on all these outfits and he's like, you like that?
Oh
you
my
like
gosh.
that? I'm like, I did not, it doesn't surprise me he did that, but I didn't think we'd see a video like that of him while he's been
Well, and good for him for the 100th example of him just being a good spirit despite having a horrifying end to a season where he was having MVP numbers with the best defense we've had in recent history. And then he goes down, like everyone knows as a competitor and as someone who wants to win that he's heartbroken about it. But the fact that he still goes out and does this ridiculous shit despite being in one of the most depressing points of his career, I would imagine, just shows how much of a trooper he is and how he's perfect for Minnesota because despite the negativity, he's still going to have fun and be himself. There's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, just shows how good of a guy he is. If this happened to Patrick Mahomes would be somehow blaming the refs for all this.
Yeah.
So you gotta take Kirk Cousins, but people just still rip on him even after he's been injured. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. That's why I think we have the dumbest fan base in America.
Just to close out the Minnesota rundown segment here, we'll talk about the Wilds. Put up the same amount of points as the Vikings. They went 2-2 on the Canadian/West Coast stint. Boldy's looking good. Rossi's looking good. Gus has been pretty damn good. I think one of the best goalies in the league since December started. So, I mean, we're hanging in there. 2-2. That was a tough road trip. The logistics of it were fucked up. Like, they were in Vancouver playing on, what was that, Wednesday night, and then they had to fly to Edmonton. No, so it was Thursday night they played Vancouver, flew to Edmonton that night right after the game, lost an hour, had to play on a back-to-back against Edmonton that night, who had 3 days of rest. So, like, they kind of got screwed over by the way the schedule worked. But
and then had to fly back to Seattle, which is, if I'm not mistaken, really close to Vancouver.
They went 2-2 on the road trip. I went 0-4 as a fan, trying to stay up for these games and watch them. I mean, especially this time of year when you're still adjusting to it getting dark at 4:30 p.m. Like, it's brutal when they're on the West Coast like this.
Yeah,
or Canada.
I'm just glad there were a couple. The 8 p.m. games are still weird, but it's not, at least it's
not as
like
bad.
9 and 9:30 every fucking night.
Fucking
but yeah,
9 p.m. is that's late night television.
But we got to see. I was gonna say though, even when they lost, it didn't feel like they played bad per se. Like, it didn't compare to the losses that we saw at the beginning of the year where they were losing 8-1 or like 7-2 or like everything just looks fucking horrible. They actually like stayed in a couple of these games and played well, and they ended up beating obviously Seattle and stayed in those games. But yeah, the West Coast.
We need to just get rid of the time zones.
Get rid of time zones and just have it all together.
Yeah,
as
come
one.
on.
Like, we can all come together as one. It's not a big deal, and we can just figure it out from there. But yeah, having a bald coach does something. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we're only like 4 points out of a wild card spot now at this point. So if we're talking playoff spots,
Yeah, I'm shaving my head once again. If we make it past the first round, that bet carries on until it hits.
Okay, and then you would be truly one with John Hines.
Yeah.
And it would be more than what Cam wants to do, which is just a bald cap, which he should just shave it or go nothing.
Cam, Caillou is
Caillou as the coach.
He's catching strays. I don't think there's any reason to insult Caillou. I don't think you need to bring him into this.
Do it.
Why?
I just can't.
Okay.
I can't cut the hair.
Are you never gonna cut it again? Like I remember.
No. I'm getting a haircut very soon.
Like you're gonna shave it down to like when you got your job interview a few years ago.
No, we're going back to the mullet.
Oh, but you're not gonna get like a nice clean.
No.
Buzz cut?
You're gonna shave like the top of it.
Yeah, I'm doing like the sides with the lines again.
There you go.
And I'm
The
trimming
full mullet.
Yeah,
full porn guy.
Yeah.
I can't.
Full
I have
porn guy.
such a huge head. I can't have short
Full
hair.
demolition derby guy. I've kind of come to the decision that I'm probably just gonna like literally grow my hair out until summer.
Really?
I don't want to get another haircut again. I just
See, but
felt
you can
weird.
actually pull that off.
It gets bad, but it's going to get
I
bad
look
if
like a wet dog if I do it.
I look like my head looks like a fucking mop, though. It gets to a point, but
speaking of guys with the mullets, John Merrill should probably switch to football at this point because he's
bad.
He's bad, and somehow he seems like a great guy. Don't get me wrong. I always hate ripping on players who do awesome things in the community and stuff, but in a hockey sense, he keeps finding his way back into the lineup. Like now that Brodin might be on LTIR, John Merrill's not going anywhere, which is very unfortunate when you watch some of the goals that we allow. People just sneak behind him. He has no idea. I don't like watching him play hockey, and he's not a great defenseman, but we don't have a lot of better options. Like we try to call up Dakota Murmis, we try to call up other guys from Iowa. It just doesn't work. So we're stuck with Johnny Mid.
yeah, constantly when a guy would come down and score, you just see him like behind him.
You see number
It's like,
4,
dude,
just
that
always chasing someone.
That stash of mullets not working. Really quick go for hoops update.
Dude.
We crushed Florida Gulf Coast on Saturday, and unofficially Phil, our unofficial Go for Hoops correspondent, will be at the main game.
Yeah, he was very
20th.
adamant about the main
Yes.
game. He said he's going to be at the main game. He's only missed 2 home games this year.
Yep. So if you saw
game versus IUPUI has went final.
No.
Gophers win 101-65.
they are now 1 win shy of their win total last year.
Is that a military? Is that like a middle school academy? IUPUI that sounds like a made up place.
They're the Jaguars, I believe. I know that. Let's look it up. What is it? I forgot what it stands for. Hold on.
There's 2 U's in
Indiana University, Purdue University, and Indianapolis? I'm pretty sure. Isn't that it? I think it is.
That's too long of a name.
It is. It's ridiculous.
IUPUI.
It's so dumb. No, it's dumb.
Where do you go to school? IUPUI.
What did you call me?
Yeah, like is that an insult? Is that
Also-
a slang term?
Can confirm they are the Jaguars. Kind of proud of myself for
Jaguars.
that.
Yeah, they are Jaguars. Did they steal like the NFL
Jaguars.
logo and just change the colors of it? Because I love when teams do that.
No.
Like what Minnetonka did to the Gophers.
Yeah, or
The Cardinals. Who has the Cardinals logo around here?
Annandale or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's a.
We did growing up in South St. Paul, we have the Chicago Bulls logo, pretty much.
Yeah, I
It's
mean
a little different.
Actually, New Richmond, where I went to high school, we just took Missouri's, but instead of the yellow, it's like a darker yellow to be an orange.
Champlin is literally just the Patriots logo.
Yeah, that's right.
They have just the Patriots logo.
Yeah.
High school is like backyard football. They're just
High schools can get away with it, though. They can get away with just blatantly ripping it, but we can't. We get fucking C&D'd when we do that.
North Branch is the Vikings.
That's the one I was thinking of.
yeah, it's like a red Viking logo.
Yeah.
It's cool, but
I
it's
grew
also
up. I grew
like-
up playing basketball against them, and I always remember like we'd make jokes. Oh, we're playing the Vikings.
Well, like Minnetonka too. Growing up,
Yeah.
we're playing the Gophers. It's a
Right,
blue Minnesota M.
Yeah.
but it's like we're playing the blue Gophers.
It is
or
kind of
whatever it
bananas
is.
that schools just do that. Like they don't come up with their own thing.
I mean, you
But
got
I
to
know.
think at some point. Like
you got to run out
That's
of
like
ideas.
Burnsville, our high school. The helmet literally looked like the Steelers helmet forever without the Steelers logo.
Right.
Stupid.
All right, my final thing on the Wild is obviously the Evander Kane hit on Brodin, illegal jail. I actually saw a tweet that said, quote unquote, if I was in a room with Hitler, Bin Laden, and Evander Kane and had a gun with 2 bullets, I would shoot Evander Kane twice. So the Wild fan base is outraged by this hit.
Extremely.
And yeah, I mean, it just means that John Merrill has to play more, which is unfortunate. Brodin is obviously a key defenseman. If you look at him and Faber's numbers, I mean, this is a huge loss. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but I guess depth, that's what the Wild are good at. They're good at finding guys and, filling them in. So
Hashtag depth, Bogosian.
Also, random thought, the Like Bally Sports needs to bring back the goalie cam. I think I was telling you about this weekend.
Yeah, why don't they have that anymore?
I watched the Wild were on ESPN, like the regular ESPN broadcast, or someone I was watching the ESPN broadcast. They pulled the goalie, and the camera comes of the goalie skating, just fucking full board of the bench. I just realized after all the games I've watched that Bally doesn't do that, and it kind of sucks.
I know they used to. I feel like I don't know.
We need it now.
Yeah. Well. Oh yeah. They don't. At Fox Sports North did that all the time. I feel like they would show it was just maybe they felt like it's pointless. No, it's cool. It adds to the presentation of seeing the goalie skate up the ice.
I feel like I get that you have one camera guy who's already following the action.
Yeah.
Couldn't he use his left hand or his right hand, his other hand, to do that simultaneously? I feel like those camera guys are good enough. They could do both of them with like 5 minutes of practice.
Well, they have enough cameras too where a guy could just go on the goalie.
Yeah, you could zoom it out.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be zoomed in all the way. It could even be a wide shot of it, and just make it small in the corner. It's cool.
I know. I just think not having the goalie cam anymore. Like I almost realized they didn't have it anymore. They just.
I know, that's what I was realizing too. It took
went
a
away
while.
with it. But I feel like not having it is literally a discrimination towards goalies everywhere, including ourselves. So
that's
we want as much goalie attention as possible, and that was one way to get it. So
we demand to be represented.
Yeah.
All right.
Representation without
taxation without representation. Correct.
Yes.
Yep. Pretty much.
Cool.
All right. That just about does it for the Minnesota Sports Talk. Let's take a quick commercial break and get into our interview with Barstool Chief. All right, folks. Welcome back to It's a Bit. We got a special recurring guest. I think he's been on probably more than anybody at this point.
This is my third appearance.
Third appearance. Barstool Chief, Barstool Chicago. Chief, I see you got yourself, was that a Coors Light right there?
No, I only drink Miller Lite.
Oh, that's right.
This is a LaCroix.
That's a spark. Okay.
That's LaCroix.
Yeah, just a sparkling water. Pamplemousse, grapefruit, if you guys don't speak French. So it's that's my go-to.
I'm too uncomfortable.
Well, thanks for having me back, guys. It's been probably about 6 months since I've seen you in the flesh. So Jack and I keep up a little bit here and there. But yeah, I had a fun time with you guys in the summer, so I'm happy to be on the show again.
Well, yeah, let's get into that. So you were here in Minneapolis this summer. I think it was the weekend after the 4th of July for the crazy game of hockey charity event. Chief got to play. Yeah,
I got to play. It was my favorite weekend of the summer. So and you guys were a big part of that. I don't know. I think I was there for 3 nights, and I think I hung out with you guys for 2 of them. So that was great. You guys were good tour guides, even though downtown Minneapolis was a little bit dead. For whatever reason in the summer, but I had a great time, and that, playing with Mike Modano, like immediately sent to my dad, like, see, like I did it. Like I'm playing hockey with the very best. And the concert was awesome. And breaking news, I just got the text from Mark Robert yesterday, the lead singer of OAR, who was a big part of that event, that I have an invite for next summer too. So I'm coming back. I'll be back in Minnesota.
Yes.
It was
more
the
stories.
fastest yes I've ever given, because that weekend I felt like a real celebrity that weekend. Like they treated us the same way they treated Mike Modano. So it was great.
Yeah, but you are a real celebrity, so
not like that kind of, not like a real one. There were real ones there.
Yeah.
We're just like kind of little. We have a little corner of the internet. There were like big people there, former NBA players, ton of NHL guys, real musicians. Mark Robert is like famous.
Well, the funniest was I tweeted a picture of Chief and Modano standing next to each other during the anthem, and I just said, a legendary hockey player and Mike Modano just lining up next to each other.
Yeah.
But
yep.
Did you see?
Because it's more of a myth for me. Like I tell people I played hockey, but it's like a legend. Like no one's ever really seen it since pre-internet era.
Did you like how we snuck up to Guerin's box in the middle of the game?
I was like, who are these guys? Like they're just hanging with Billy G. The guy pulling all the strings of Minnesota. Like you guys were saying, like how he's been on the show and he's friendly with you guys, and then it's like, oh well, these guys they're like the VIPs of Minnesota. They just go wherever they want.
We can walk in wherever we want. We just got to be confident.
That was your rig, basically.
Yes.
That was my takeaway.
We got all the free coffee too. They had a Keurig up there.
Yeah, we just got a shit ton of coffee,
ton of waters.
Well, that whole event was so first class. Where I've never felt like an NHL player before, but I imagine that's what it's like. Where they have all your equipment, they take care of everything. Your jerseys are hanging neatly in the locker. They had a whole spread for food when we first walked there. like really good egg and cheese sandwiches, things like that. It was the best event I've ever been a part of. So it was awesome.
Wasn't there like the what was it, the red carpet event?
Yeah, that's right. How'd that go?
The night before?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a red carpet. They had like 3 different like musical acts. Then they had like a stand-up comedian woman. They had a silent auction. It was awesome. Yeah, it was great.
I'm still upset that Minneapolis was so dead the first night, because you got in on a Thursday. We hung out with you that night, and for those listening who like know the area, we went to Tom's Watch Bar. That was like the only thing that was open. It was a non-Twins night, so I guess the whole city just shut down. But then we went to the Loop and North Loop, and that was like the only other place we could find civilization at, which was super weird. But
it's weird for a Thursday. I don't know.
Yeah, we can next summer. We'll game plan a little bit more effectively and get to the areas that are popping, because I love it up there. I do love Minnesota. I said like my best friend from college was from Roseville, so we used to hang up there.
Yep.
In the summer, so I love it. And I still had a good time. It was just a little bit dead. That's all.
Well, and I think next year we're gonna do the whole weekend of, because we didn't go to the concert. I think you can buy a pass to get into like all of it, right? Not just the game.
I'll get more information about that.
Yeah, how
that venue was spectacular. I guess it's where the
Armory.
The Armory, yeah.
The Armory, where it was the Minnesota Lakers used to play.
Yep.
So it was like this old building that they converted to a concert hall. It was probably the coolest setup for a concert I've seen, where they just had like the whole floor was GA, and then all around it like was like the different little suite areas.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. It was really perfect. And the text from Mark Robert was that the lineup for the concert for next year is going to be unbelievable. I've heard whispers that it's John Mayer might be involved.
Shit.
So,
Whoa.
like I think this event, like Feidelberg and I were joking, like it's about to be way too big. Like there's going to be like actual famous people getting invited instead of us next year.
You?
And then Robert's was like, nope, anybody, and the guy who runs it from the Wild, it was like anybody who was in the first year is just grandfathered in forever. So we're like, all right, we'll see.
That's fucking awesome.
Piggyback
off of that the rest of your life. I would for sure.
Yeah,
because I was going to say,
until I can't skate anymore, which I mean, I feel like I barely skate now, but like I'm just going to keep doing it forever.
Can't retire.
People forgot though that you had a breakaway on Devin Dubnyk to win the whole thing, right? Was that who you shot on?
Not a pure breakaway, but it was a good scoring chance, we'll say, and I put it right in his fucking chest like I always do. So, but yeah, that was the still shot was awesome though. It looked like I knew what I was doing, but if anybody like actually saw it, it was just like this guy sucks at hockey.
Well, and I was sitting up next to Liam Guerin, who's Billy's son, good friend of ours, and I was like, holy shit, Chief has a chance to like, and I'm like, can you imagine if he's the one that decides this game? Like that,
I was gonna heartbreaker Patrick Kane Selly right in everybody's eyeball and then just walk off the ice. That would have been incredible.
I think you would have had to.
I think last year, what was it? We were over in the end of the rink where we were standing, and I think we were building like a pyramid of just our seltzers. We were building like a pyramid on the glass. I think that's what actually got the attention of Bill Guerin ultimately, like to tell us to come up there. But I was speaking of like being involved. Remember Kevin Gorg, who's like our the Minnesota Wild, one of the Minnesota Wild reporters up here for us on our TV network.
He's like the between the periods guy.
Yeah, and he does a really good job, and he's kind of a legend up here. And he came right. He's been on our podcast a couple times, and he came right up next to us or walked right by us when we were watching. He's like, what? He's like, next year we're gonna get a 10,000 takes line out there. We're gonna make that happen. I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna.
They're gonna have to divide.
They always need goalies, Jack.
Yeah,
everybody always needs goalies. So I feel like
Jake and I are both tendies. So honestly, we could be a couple depth guys. Like
we could be the third or fourth string goalies. They could just have 3 or 4 goalies on the bench. I'm fine just sitting there.
I've never seen you guys play, but I would, if I get a scoring opportunity next year, I would prefer it to you in net and not Devin Dubnyk. That's all I'm saying. I would prefer
Nicholas Backstrom.
Yeah, Nicholas Backstrom.
If I'm looking for glory, I'd much prefer to face you guys than Dubnyk is like absurdly big.
Yeah,
takes up the whole net.
Yeah.
So like, I shot it into his chest, but his chest takes up 90% of the net.
Well, I think we'd be more serviceable between periods when like the mites come out. I think that's probably what they would use us for instead.
Yeah.
Well, the young kids came out though, like in the game.
That's right. I forgot.
During the game, there were like a couple of like the players' kids out there, and they were like they could skate circles on me.
It was I'm blanking on his name, but he's the bass player for OAR, and he had 2 sons, and they were one of them in particular. I think he was like 9 years old. It's like, can we buy stock in a child? Because that kid's going in the first round. Like, just like nasty hands, not intimidated out there at all. Didn't seem like it. He's out there with Jared Spurgeon, Ryan Hartman, like Matthew Boldy, like all these like current stud, very important players for the Minnesota Wild. He did not care at all. He's like, I'm just going to dangle everybody.
I'm curious. I know you know Hartsey fairly well, but like out of everyone else there, did you get to do much networking? Like, did you talk to any, or did you meet anyone in particular that you were like pumped to meet?
I gotta say, like I'm not great at networking. I really I enjoyed talking to Jared Spurgeon. Matthew Boldy made me feel like a genuine piece of shit, like just an old guy, because I was sitting there with Feidelberg, and Feidelberg's about my age, and I think it was after the concert that we're like, should we go out? Like, what should we do? And we're talking to Boldy, and Boldy's like, yeah, like I think we're gonna get a table at Cowboy Jack's. He was being a nice guy, but he's like, yeah, like I don't know if you guys like it. There's a lot of people like my age there, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, aren't we all the same age basically? Like, I know you're whatever he is, 22 or whatever, but it's like that one. Like, I've never in real time, because normally like with Barstool, like no one like thinks of us. Like, even like the young guys want us around because it's, we're Barstool. It's like kind of people think it's cool. Boldy didn't really care, and he was looking out for our best interest. We're like, you guys are old. You won't like this party. I was like, oh, man. Like, that was the first time someone like aged me out of their party as a courtesy. Like, that was rough, but what are you gonna do? That is the reality.
Well, I would have just told him. Did you tell him that you were at the Loop
That's
with a
what I
couple
was
crazy
about to say.
motherfuckers the night before?
Yeah.
So
if he would have known you were at the Loop, I think he wouldn't have. I don't think he would have retracted the invite.
The comment stopped me in my tracks, number one, and then about 3 seconds went by, and I'm like, I don't know. I think he's probably right. I kind of am tired. I just want to go home. So I think we just kind of called it a night after that. So yeah, no night out after the concert, but still a great weekend. We just have to plan out the social activities around it a little bit better next time.
Yeah,
we'll get a party bus.
Yeah,
I am not opposed to that.
Yeah.
So we'll have a 10,000 takes by Barstool, ex Barstool night out. That's what we'll do.
And we'll get a table at Cowboy Jack's.
Yeah,
we'll be involved.
We're getting that. We're getting that fucking table.
They fly our flag outside the building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Portnoy has been at that bar when
all
the
the
Super
big
Bowl
names
was
have been
here.
there.
So
yeah,
it's a Barstool bar. We'll make it happen.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're invited, but that's fine. We'll do old guy stuff.
We'll do our own thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think the one last thing I have to mention about that weekend was there was a point at the Loop that Thursday night where you looked at Jake and you're like, I've only seen one other human with the look in your eye that you have, and his name is White Sox Dave. Do you still see similarities between these two? Because as someone who watches your guys' stuff and who hangs out with him all the time, they might be the same person.
They have some similar tendencies.
Yeah.
Like, he had like the little kind of a glassy-eyed look, but it's more than that. Like, it's like a wild side of you comes out.
Yeah.
You're looking for trouble, but like good fun trouble. And like, you have no, I wouldn't say it's no self-awareness, but no like inhibitions about anything. Like, you'll just I'll do anything. I'll go talk to that person. I'll see what we can do.
That's him to a T. That's nuts.
Yeah, you can get him to I feel like when you've had a couple of pops, people get you to do anything. Like, you're like White Sox Dave once ate a cicada bug at a golf tournament because someone paid him $20, but it was really because he had a cooler of Miller Lights and High Noons, and he's like, yeah, I'll eat a cicada. It'll be funny. And I feel like, Jake, you could be talked into eating cicadas.
I probably could, depending on if I'm down 10 Miller Lights or something, I definitely could. I probably would.
Yeah.
But like going off of that, I remember that night too. I was like I would see a girl drinking High Noon and be like, "Hey, you drinking High Noon? That's the guy." And they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
That's the Barstool guy.
And I had to be like, I don't really know that guy. Just so we're all on the same page. Like, nice guy, like him. I don't really know him that well, and I don't really have anything to do with High Noon. Yeah. That's my boss.
I'm just like, it's the Barstool drink. He's the Barstool guy. Like, I'd just be screaming at the loop on a Thursday night.
Yeah. No, we don't care.
Yeah, I know.
We don't care.
Like, they didn't even, half of them were like, what's Barstool? Like, these girls are like, what? Like,
then Chief would walk back over to me and be like, I'm like, oh, is he embarrassing you? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, he'll tucker himself out.
Like a toddler.
But it was like, yeah, a little bit, but I'm used to that. And I just thought it was funny. Like, I thought it was funny how, like, you were absurd that night. And it was cracked me up.
A couple of those big beers we got at Tom's Watch Bar, and we proceeded.
That was my fault. I asked, because usually that Tom's Watch Bar has, like, the large size beers, but then they brought out that fucking pot full of beer. Like, it had 2 handles on it. And I did not know they started serving that size. But funny story, we went to the Eagles-Vikings game on Thursday Night Football, and I saw tons of people drinking those. So apparently that's a normal thing. That was way too much for one person in one sitting. So I'm not surprised that,
And I think I had a few skinny water vodka sodas. So, like, we were all tuned up a little bit. I had a lot of fun.
It was a blast.
Came out. Yeah.
It was a blast. Also, we're going to possibly be in your area for a Wild Blackhawks game this spring.
You guys have been saying that for basically as long as I've known you, and it's never come.
It's never
happened.
So
when you're in Chicago, that's when I want to hear about that.
Okay,
and then we'll get together.
Well,
so I feel like it's like, we're coming for Twins, Cubs, we're coming for this, we're coming for Vikings, and then you just never do. You get everybody's hopes up, and then you never come.
Okay, well. Then that's the last I'll mention of it, because it's gonna.
Until we show up.
I'm just gonna show up at your apartment or wherever you live. I'm just gonna show up.
I'm right by Wrigley Field.
I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna go watch some sports with you on that tiny TV you have.
It's. I'm hoping. When is that game?
I think it's. Let me double check.
February.
We've already mapped this out. We've done the preliminary work of mapping it out. See, the problem is we don't write stuff down, and then it's just like, oh, remember how we were gonna go to Chicago to watch that game? Yeah, that's like tomorrow.
Yeah, it goes into the abyss, and they're like, oh shit, we're done. Not happening this year, but we're trying to make an initiative to make sure we do it.
I'm putting it on the calendar.
Yeah, we
put it on, and then I think first of all, my TV's 55 inches. Like, everyone thinks it's 30, it's 55. It's a perfectly fine size TV, and I almost stole, because we had the office on Belmont, and that was really our office, and so they sent us an email being like, hey, if you guys have anything left in there, like, go and grab it or mark it so we can bring it to the new place. Otherwise, we're just going to liquidate anything. So Eddie and I went into the old office. I think it was last weekend. He grabbed like these 2 big leather couches, and we have a 85-inch TV on the wall that apparently is just there for the taking. And I'm very intimidated because it's mounted to take it.
You should.
But like, then what? Then I just lean it up against my fireplace. Like, I don't know how am I going to mount that? How am I going to get it over here? So I'm working on the TV situation. I might just steal one from our company, or I'll just buy one and pay somebody to mount it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So then the boys can come over and we can watch sports on an appropriate size TV, because 55 is not good enough.
It's not these days. No, nothing's good enough these days. It's April 7th. It's April 7th. That's when.
Is that the one we were looking at?
That's perfect. Springtime too.
Yeah.
That's there's one in February too, February 7th. Which one's better? Cool. You pick.
I would say April.
Okay.
April. And then you guys will be in a playoff chase, hopefully by then.
Oh boy, we'll see.
Maybe the Blackhawks too.
We'll be in the Celebrini Derby again, number 1 pick Derby.
Yep.
And so we can both root for the Wild. It'd be great.
There we go. It's been settled then. All right, the April one's I'm putting it on the calendar now, so we don't do this shit again in a year. And I'm not going to let that happen.
Yeah, and we're going to take what you said to heart of that. Do not let you know until we're in Chicago by literally.
That's
being
literally.
at your doorstep.
I'm going to text you when we are in Wrigleyville.
No. We're gonna find out where you live and just show up to your door. We're in Chicago.
Yeah,
we're here. All right.
Yeah, just buzz the door.
Yeah, Cam just pull his IP right now.
Yeah.
I know we have something to do that.
I already got hackers.
Okay, you already did it. Great. Well, speaking of, you mentioned that you guys moved offices. So how's the new office? I know a lot of people from New York have come in, and I'm interested to get your take on the situation now that it's kind of like a stepbrothers situation with a lot of people.
It is a little bit like that, but there is a lot more room for activities, and
True.
so it's been like a little bit of a kind of a weird transition because Barstool's a big company and everybody was in New York, so like we had our own space for a long time and our own crew, and like those guys because I don't know, like kind of, but you don't really know anybody. So we became like the minority in our own. We said strangers in our own home kind of thing with everybody coming here because they all know each other and we don't really know them. But it's been a fun kind of feeling out process, and what better way to get to know people than golf simulator, dodgeball, pickup basketball, hockey, soccer games, like all that office has everything, and it's like weird. It's weird to like go to work in like a fun house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the new Barstool office in Chicago where someone noticed a camera in the shower? What was that about? Who was that again? What the hell?
That was big, and I love Big T. He's one of the guys that has moved here. He's from Tennessee, and he was like, I'm gonna go into work early and shoot around and get a little bit of a workout in, and then I'll just shower at the office because we have a shower, and it feels when you're in there feels very private. And then as he was showering, he looks up and is like, "There's a camera," because like everything is about content, and Big T's dong is not about content, but like different shows have like punishment, like the Yak, which is Big Cat's other show, as a punishment where it's like you land on the wet wheel and you have to just be wet for the rest of the day. So you got to go in the shower, and before they would dump a bucket of water on you or something, or if your team loses in a terrible way, you have like the soggy sorrows, you got to go sit in the shower. So there's like, you need a shower, and obviously if you're going to have a shower for like these different content bits that they have, you should have a camera in there. But that's actually turns out like a huge violation of privacy. So I think after the Big T incident, I think they turned that camera off or took it out or something. I haven't used the shower at the office, but whatever. It's just the fellas. They can see it if they need to.
I just thought that was very, very funny. I mean, it was kind of odd, but it was. I mean, was the camera like always on? Was it streaming to some? I mean,
it's like the Truman Show kind of thing, right? Am I thinking of the right thing?
Yeah. Where there's a camera like everywhere.
Everywhere. And it's like, there are times where you're sitting there and I'll be talking to Eddie and we'll be talking about something, I don't know, let's say we're frustrated about something or someone, and then it's like, oh, wait a second. Well, is that all picked up on mic and a camera? Because we're just sitting out here in like a lounge area where you kind of forget that there's cameras there. It's like the real world, or you just kind of forget after a while that there's cameras running all the time. Like we had this kid, Pug, who's a producer, and they were just playing pickup basketball, and Mackenzie, who's a girl, absolutely just broke his fucking ankles. Like he fell down from a move she did on him. And it's like anywhere else, it's like, the people who witness it, like, bust your balls. Nope, this goes out to the entire area. Because we just have cameras for every, like, you can't hide really anywhere except for the bathroom in that office. Like even our own studio is constantly, even if we're not recording, we're piped into like the control room downstairs. So, and there's always people in there. So it's like the mics are always on. You just got to be, it's like it's a weird thing to like have to think about and get used to, that every single thing that you do and say is being recorded.
Well, and you mentioned that the new office had everything, the basketball courts, the golf simulator, but have you had the conversation with Big Cat yet about a hockey rink outside? What about a frozen rink?
So we're talking about it.
Okay.
So we have nets on the end, like hockey nets. But we have this like little area. It's not big enough for like a full rink or anything, but there's like this train tracks that run behind our office, and then there's like a green space, can't be more than 20 feet wide, but it'd be perfect to just put some ice down. You have like, I said, like, let's get a curling court Kurt, like the Olympic, and then but with a hockey net too. So then you can have like little competitions out there, and then if I want to go and make sure I don't get an opportunity to win a game against Devin Dubnyk, I don't put it in his chest. I'll just be working out there picking corners.
Right.
So I think that is possible in the new year.
I mean, especially for a Midwestern audience, Chicago, the Midwest in general, big hockey area. I think you guys could start a whole video series of just putting people who don't know how to skate on skates. Our guy Cam here, who has the blonde hair, our producer, he just started playing hockey and he's been learning to skate. And it's quite entertaining. I mean, anyone who's learning to skate is hilarious. I mean, you guys I feel like you could just do a whole thing with people who don't know how to skate, trying to skate.
Which I think is everyone. So there's like probably 50 people in the office now. And I think that there's only 3 of us that can skate. So, and one of them, Rudy, won a national championship for Denver, like 2017.
Whoa.
Yeah. So he's actually very good. And then everyone else is like, baby deer. Like they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So we had a competition for, basically Portnoy. If we sold enough merch on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, we had this competition where everybody who's a behind the scenes person was like on camera and competing in like different games, and it was a basketball game, but it was like, all right, stop, and it's a home run derby. All right, spin the wheel. One guy has to be carrying a hockey stick the whole time. Then it was, all right, one person on each team has to be wearing rollerblades, and it was like there just weren't anybody who could skate, who can even do the rollerblades. So I think that would be fun to do, like a learn to skate in the back, and then once everybody gives up on that after a day, we just switch it over to curling, because I think curling plays, like everybody.
Yeah, anyone can do curling, because I mean, I think the only person who has like the person who pushes the ball, the handle,
the rock,
the stone.
Yeah. Yes,
that person has like one normal shoe and then one with like a spike in it, right? That they plant or something.
Man, I can't remember. I don't think I really paid close enough attention to curling last time.
I get so lost in the mopping. I think that's
the screaming,
awesome.
the sweeping, and then just
I don't know what you're saying.
And then the mullets.
Yep.
The guys, the U.S. team that had the mullets. Remember that?
Yeah,
that was fun.
They were electric. I also feel like I could, with a couple of winters, be a very good curler.
Yeah.
It's not that different from bocce or bowling. Like I can kind of do those things on ice. I'm pretty good on ice. I feel like I could figure that sport out.
Especially if you're allowed to have a beer in hand too, just like any other yard game.
I kind of think that should be a requirement.
Yeah. I think almost like beers be like you have to have one in your hand.
Or else you're disqualified. Right. And it can't be NA. They will check it for the alcohol content as well.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they should what if they change the crazy game of hockey to a crazy game of curling? And everyone's out there just curling, or add it into the events, maybe.
I think that's a good idea, but it's hard. That's a summer event. So we have to find a place to have ice in the inside, I guess.
Well, I will say, like in Minnesota, like we have some of the biggest curling centers in the country. I know some in Duluth.
Are they open year round? Because I feel like the ones we have here are only like they just make them in the winter.
Yeah, no, there's a curling center in like Chaska. I think there's definitely one year round. Now that I think of it, I think there was a Barstool video when.
I think you're right.
They came, Dave Portnoy and a lot of them came here for the Super Bowl. They went to one of the places, and that was in February. But I think that whatever they went, it was Chaska or something.
Yeah, I do remember that now, and that was indoors. So,
yes, yep. I think it's year round, so they could do that on Friday and the crazy game of hockey on Saturday, and then you got yourself a whole ice events.
Yeah,
Olympics ordeal.
Great idea. I'll run it up the flagpole, see if we can get everyone out
for
curling
the top guy.
instead of the silent auction.
But going back really quick to actually, if you did like get all the guys that don't skate, that don't know how to skate, I think you just get like a former NHLer in there just screaming at him and trying to get him to do like full on NHL drills, like Russian circles and all that shit. That'd be hilarious. People might get hurt though.
Oh, that would be great. We could just get Biz to have Biz come out.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
People, yeah.
Oh my gosh, and he's just screaming at him.
Skate. Yeah,
and just start getting
he's like he never really gets that fired up, Biz, like when he gets angry at people, but when he does, like he's scary.
Yes.
So if he could just put it on, even when like there's a clip of him and Whitney arguing about the Red Wings, like when Biz gets rattled, it's awesome. It's like fun to see.
Yeah,
so, I would love to see that.
You see him like even riff on TNT too.
Oh, he goes up like he's usually pretty calm on there, but like there have been a couple times where because he's a Maple Leafs fan, right?
Yeah,
he's like
grew up there.
Yeah, but he's
so-
like he's like a fan of like 7 teams.
But I
at the
remember
same time.
he went
He
off.
really like if you talk to him, he's like Leafs and then really the Yotes, and that's kind of it.
So those are the 2 core ones, and then he's more of like he supports other teams for just how impressive their stories are.
Players,
Yeah,
as a
and like he's
broadcaster.
always rooting for everybody in Canada.
Right,
So it's like
right.
he'll root for when the playoffs go along and the Leafs get knocked out. Well, then he's on to Edmonton or whoever else is Vancouver, whoever else is left. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. I guess another question I had for you is how was it willingly getting assaulted by an MMA fighter?
That was Bilal Muhammad. I think he's gonna. There's a fight I think this weekend or maybe it was last weekend, but then he's up next for like a title shot. So he's like a legit guy at his weight class, and he said his hardest kick against us was like 60.
Oh my gosh!
And I felt like the urge to poop. Like I've never experienced pain so bad that I'm like I'm gonna shit my pants right now.
Have you guys seen that?
I saw the video. I saw clips of it. I saw White Sox Dave go down too.
Yeah, so that
He
was
in
the
pain.
contest was who can take the most leg kicks before the other guy like taps out. And I went first, and so it was like alternating. And I tried to get him to trick him and be like, no, we'll do a snake. You go first and round.
You take 2 of them in a row.
Take 2 right back to back, and he was on to me. He didn't fall for that one, unfortunately. But I took 3, and Dave took 2. So I am tougher, stronger, meaner, better than him. But that was like the most acute pain I think I've ever had, and I've had. Like I tore a meniscus. I've had my shoulder pop out. I've had all like the the ankle surgeries, all like those like hockey injuries. I've had them all. This was like, I don't know how those guys do it, because he's like, that was about 60%
Jeez.
of my power. And I think he'd said that was on the second one. He was his hardest one. And it's like, I can't even imagine what 100's like. And then you just have to keep fighting after that. Like I had like, how do you take one of those and then like get ready to like throw a punch or a kick yourself? Like it was the worst pain of it.
Was it centralized pain to like just the spot, or was it all over your body?
No, it like, and the other thing was that it was weird. I didn't really bruise that bad, like hardly at all. It was like the pain was like too far down in my leg muscle to be bruised. It was like such like the pain was in the femur. Like somehow it just went all the way
bone.
Yeah, it was like right through to the bone, and it kind of like I felt it throughout like my whole body. Like I felt physically ill, like immediately when I took it, and yeah, so not fun, but like a good video, and that's unfortunately that is part of our job. Is to just put yourself in terrible situations.
We need to do more of that. It'd be funny.
But hey,
I mean, hey,
you'd be great at it.
I'd be honestly,
like,
I would
you'd be
love
great
it.
You take kicks like that though, but then you get to play hockey with Mike Badano. So at the end of the day, like it's a small price. It's a small price to pay.
Even when Bilal, and he was like a super nice guy. He's like a guy you want to root for. When he gets, I'm not the biggest MMA guy, he might be the only guy I can name off the top of my head. But like when he fights, I'm gonna be like interested in rooting for him. Like that was like a cool thing. Like he might be a UFC champion in a couple of months, and it's like I could just be like, yeah, like I took his best shot, and I'm still walking.
Absolutely,
I took some kicks from that guy.
So that was, and even though it wasn't his best shot, it was 60%. But I will tell everyone, like, yeah, I don't know what this other guy's problem is. Why he's still down on the ground? Like I was up in like 30 seconds.
And you have to tell everyone else though it was like 100. Like you have to be like, that was the hardest kick.
Just with us, like I'll just put the video out where I'm like, yeah, I took his leg kick. What of it? Who cares?
Right.
Keep fighting. This guy's a pussy.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
Now you talk about that being like the worst pain. I mean, would you rather have been kicked in the nuts by that guy or taken the kick to the the femur.
I think the femur is still the safest option.
Okay,
Kick to the
right.
I mean, like
Right.
That would.
But in terms of pain,
the Brandel name has to live on.
You're right.
Eventually. I can't
You're
be
right.
sacrificing my nuts.
I
but
get
like
it.
that, it was like after my second one, I was like, it hurt so badly that I was just begging Dave. I'm like, Dave, like don't do it. Like you're my friend. Like don't do this. Like we'll call it a tie, and just don't take that second kick because it hurt that badly. Where I'm like, I can't see this happen to somebody else. So, but he took a second one and then he was done. Like he crumpled.
Yeah.
He took one for the boys.
Yeah.
Just that video. That was like a typical dudes rule kind of video though, where it's like, this is just whatever day of the week for you guys, and you're just taking turns getting kicked by a professional fighter, and it's like whoever gives up first loses.
Yeah.
It's like it's just comedy in its simplest form for people like us. So it's just fantastic.
Yeah, we will be stupid and inflict pain on ourselves for your entertainment.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
because that's why we're here. That's why we're put on this planet. I mean, we haven't done anything to that extent ourselves of getting, kicked in the legs by professional fighters, but we have done shit where we're like, why are we doing this? And we're like, we're doing it for the folks.
Yeah,
we're doing it for the fellas. We're doing it for the people out there.
I went through a table in our basement last winter when the Bills were playing the Vikings. I was like, okay, now I have to destroy a table. So I jumped off our bar into a table.
Yeah.
Completely destroyed it, had bruises all up and down my body, but I'm like, no, that was funny. So you know what? People enjoyed it. So we'll just get over it now. That's pretty much
And now the ringing off ideas, now that we're talking, I got willingly slapped in the head. I was wearing a hockey helmet, but I told the guy to slap me full force by a guy from Philly. We were at a bar in Minneapolis a couple summers ago, and we just decided to film a video with this guy from Philly. And I'm like, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah from 10,000 Takes, and this is Phil or Brad from Philadelphia, and he's going to hit me as hard as he can in my helmet. And he just fucking slapped me like it was one of those slap.
Well, you've been tased.
I've been tased too as well. I was tased.
That's
in Buffalo.
that's gotta be.
I would lead with that.
Yeah,
I've
been tased.
I didn't think you. I thought you
How
were gonna
bad
bring
was
up
that?
Well, not like tased like from like the cops taser, but like a stun gun.
Oh yeah.
But he did rapidly do it to me in the back like 3 or 4 times. Like
Jesus.
We were in Buffalo after the Vikings beat Buffalo in that historic game last year. We were out at the bars, and this guy we were with like pointed at Jake to a private security guard and was like, "Hey, I'll pay you $100 if you walk up to that guy and give him a stun gun." So Jake willingly took off his shirt and started hitting the gritty, and everyone's chanting "Skull" in the background, and then you see this huge security guard come out of nowhere.
I think you guys showed me this.
Oh
video. That was so funny.
It stung. It
I
wasn't.
bet.
It wasn't like It wasn't like horrible. It didn't last very long, the pain, but it still stung. And I was like, why am I? Remember the next day after being a little hungover, I'm like, why do I do this?
Yeah.
But it was funny. We look back on it. That's why we do these things.
That's why you do it.
Yeah.
That's why you do it. Like that is like what you're saying. Like just guys being dudes, because you do it for the camera, clicks, whatever. But like when we were kids, like we just we used to just have crabapple fights for fun. It's just like guys just like doing shit like that. A little bit of pain is fun.
We genuinely like doing it.
Throw rocks at each other.
Yeah,
we had rock fights across the street too. Like you couldn't cross over the street, so it was like a wide, I don't know, subdivision street. And when this is like 9-10 years old, we would just throw a rock, like literally. Like there were rules about how big the rock could be, but then we just threw rocks at each other.
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
Normal, fun, just good all American fun right there.
Yeah, now kids play Fortnite and shit.
They inflict virtual pain by not getting the dub.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They don't understand the pain we went through with airsoft wars too. I don't know if
those were
paintball.
Yeah, they can't even entertain themselves.
We'd have executions, and if someone fucked up or someone, they would have to go on their knees.
That's
and
savage.
We couldn't shoot it. The rule was don't shoot them in the head with but like pistol to their side or their arm or something.
Give them a soldier's death. Yeah.
Brutal.
I never did anything like that.
We call it executions.
What did you have to do to get executed?
If you fucked up your team's plan, or if you did something stupid, or just in general, we would be like, "Yep, he's getting executed," because we're pissed at him.
We would do
or
that
if you lost a bet or something, I don't know.
We would do the crabapple game. We would have it was like you could take a prisoner, and then you could do like a prisoner exchange. And then if they like didn't want to do it, we would just like pelt the one kid like he'd be tied to a tree, and we would just pelt him with crab apples until he cried. But then he was right back, playing the next day. Like that was just part of the fun.
It's fun. That's what we do. That's what guys do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our joy in its purest form right there.
Pain. We love putting ourselves through pain, and to this day, we'll keep doing it.
Or we're all just really fucked up, and
yeah.
That might be it.
I think especially guys who grew up in the Midwest, because famously there's not like a ton to do here. I mean, I know we live in bigger cities, but you think like there's no way kids in Cali grew up throwing rocks at each other. There's no way kids in other areas.
Kids in maybe not California. California kids are a different breed.
Yeah.
But, like I like to think that kids in Texas and
New York City for sure.
Georgia.
New York City, but like places that if you're not like in the actual city, like I didn't grow up in Chicago. I was like 45 minutes west. That's a major city-ish, but we're in the suburbs and we're throwing rocks and crab apples at each other.
Yeah.
You're finding ways.
Yeah.
You're finding ways to entertain yourself, whether that's that or ding-dong ditching.
Oh, yeah.
Knocking over people's garbage cans.
You ever do like jousts on your bikes with like wiffle ball bats?
Never. I don't know if I've ever done that.
I
might try that now. Don't give me ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like and they had like not the wiffle ball ones, but they were like a Nerf bat.
Right.
They were still pretty fucking hard.
Yeah.
And you would just ride your bike at the other guy, and then you would both like swing a bat, like a Nerf bat at him.
That's incredible.
Bikes, and it was bikes in the yard. So you're riding your bike like in somebody's yard at each other, basically full speed, and just taking a swipe. It was great.
Yeah, I think we did like a bike gauntlet where you bike down the street and then there's kids on either side of the street with like dodgeballs and they throw them at you, and if you stay on the bike, like you win or you get a point or something. And I remember some really horrific accidents happening from that, but
I don't
know. It puts hair on the chest.
There was crazy shit you do with bikes. Like I think we had like a hill by my parents' house, like a really steep hill, like on a road, residential road, and people would dare people to go down there handless down the hill, but going probably 40 miles per hour. And I don't think I ever did it, but I know a kid fell once. He was okay, but my God,
when the hands come off the bike, that never ends well.
That just doesn't end well. That's like, look what I can do.
Yeah.
Well, cool, but you're going to lose half your face and look like Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
From The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Or the first time you stand up on the bike and you haven't ever tried it before, and then you just immediately tip over.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole new level of balance that involves extending your knees.
Yeah. And then like sled wars. We had to do that.
Oh, yeah.
What was the sled war?
Well, like we would get growing up, like we had a hill behind my parents' house, and like at the time, like when I was really young, like it was just a young neighborhood, so we'd have kids of like from like ages 5 to 15, and we would all go on this hill. So there'd be some really older kids. I'd be like 6, and there'd be like a dozen different people out there, and we'd have like a sled race. But it just turned into and we'd make jumps down this hill. It would just turn into this fucking slugfest of kids from 6 years old to 15. On sleds, literally going down, and the hill wasn't very wide, so it just turned into like if people got near each other, like the older kids would just push a younger kid off the sled. People would be chucking snowballs at each other, and the first person down the hill won. But it literally, when you got down the hill, if you made it down the hill, you look back, you'd see half the hill crying, kids tumbled over, sleds some broken. I don't know why we did it, but
that sounds like fun though.
It was hilarious. It was hilariously fun back then. Looking back on it, I miss that, but it was fucking hectic.
Jake, you're a felon.
I might be a felon.
Explains a lot of his behavior when Jake talks about his childhood. He used to huff markers. What was the thing he said something like a few months ago that left the whole room silent of something he did.
Swisher Sweets? Smoke Swisher Sweets?
No, that was just you kind of being a
stupid.
pussy.
Yeah.
But there was something you said you either ate or huffed that we were all like
Sharpies?
stopped us in our tracks.
I
Do you remember what it was?
Rubber cement or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like way out of left field.
In like 7th grade.
It was something. I'll think of it.
Okay,
We'll
but
think of
anyways,
it. But there's a lot of stuff
there's usually a cause
that makes sense to where I'm at now. So my childhood.
Speaking of those some odd behavior, I saw someone at Soldier Field took a shit in the boiler room yesterday, and
that happens.
Next thing you know, you're one game out of a playoff spot. I mean, talk about cause and effect.
We're right there now somehow, and we owe it our first ever win streak for Pulls and Eberflus. They haven't, which started with you guys that Thursday. Was it Thursday night?
Yeah,
Sunday night?
Monday
Thursday
night.
night? Beat
God,
Monday
night game that we were at.
Prime time. It was like the worst football game I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But they've won 2 in a row. And it's the first time that they have won a game after a bye week since 2013.
Oh my gosh.
Boy.
Yeah. Which sounds like impossible. Like how can that be? So there were multiple coaching regimes that went their entire run without winning after a bye week, which again, that's the Chicago Bears for you. But yeah, the guy taking a shit in the boiler room, that is indicative of Soldier Field, because those lines, you get up to go to the bathroom, you're missing at least a quarter and a half. So I know the last time I was there, where I was in the upper level, it was Notre Dame against Wisconsin, and I went right before half just to take a piss, and I missed all of halftime, the entire third quarter.
Holy
I got
shit.
back to my seat with like 12 minutes to go in the fourth. Like that's the Soldier Field like reality. So that guy, like, he's a martyr. He had to shit in the boiler room, but that's like, because they're dicking around with like the new stadium. They're talking to Chicago again. They're kind of out on Arlington, it sounds like. They're talking Naperville, Aurora. Like, they've made no progress on a new stadium. And it's like, enough is enough. We got people shitting in boiler rooms. We got to get this stadium project underway. And we hired Kevin Warren, who built your stadium, which looks spectacular, to do it. And he hasn't made any progress. And these are the consequences. Guys shitting in buckets in the boiler room.
Hey, it's turning into lucky shits though, because like you said, they shit and now they won. They're in the hunt now on the graphic. So
they're only a game out. How is that?
technically.
This is like the worst football team I've ever seen, and they're only a game out.
Hey, but someone's got to keep shitting in the boiler room. Do they play at Soldier Field again this week?
This is the classic. Like, you need to make a graphic of that guy and say undefeated since this man was seen shitting in the boiler room. Like,
that's not bad, but like, yeah, I mean they're right there. Like, they have the Browns and Joe Flacco this coming week. Then they have Arizona and Falcons at home, which both of those teams stink.
Yeah,
and they're trying to be bad now. And then they finish up at Green Bay, which if they could very well win out and go 9-8, which would be just utterly preposterous.
Yeah, they could be playing Green Bay at the end of the year for like that 7th spot.
Exactly.
You very well could.
Did you think when you texted me on Monday, November 27th, quote unquote, there's no way forward that you'd be in this position 2 weeks later, saying there's a chance that you can make the playoffs? That is bananas.
I still don't know if there's a way forward. Like, that's the thing. They have the Panthers pick.
Yeah.
It's going to be the number 1 pick. Justin Fields hasn't really. I mean, you guys watched that Vikings game. That was an ugly football game.
Yeah, we paid $140 just to get in the door, just to watch that.
Just to barely
like
see
that,
like
those organizations robbed us blind.
We barely saw like a forward pass that entire game.
Yeah.
Executed.
Right.
Justin Fields did them.
Well,
couple of them.
I mean a couple, but like.
But I think Josh Dobbs threw like 5 interceptions.
Yeah,
threw 5 interceptions.
And half of the fucking stadium was dressed up as astronauts, which made the whole thing even worse.
And we saw a couple
weird.
with the official Josh Dobbs jerseys from Fanatics and all that. We're like, okay, these, like we talked about earlier, like these people must just really fucking hate Kirk Cousins to already have his jersey. It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, people were on the Dobbs train and we just got absolutely annihilated. Well, not annihilated. It felt like we got annihilated because we couldn't do shit.
It was the worst 2-point loss of all time. And you probably should have won. Like, the Bears like pissed it away and then miracle last drive to get that field goal.
Well, and see, Chief, we thought that game was the worst game we'd ever watched, not knowing what was going to happen 2 days ago against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, I didn't even see that. What'd you guys do?
Here, wait.
You don't even need to know.
I'm gonna read you. I already did this earlier in the show. I'm gonna read you the what do they call it? So this was
The drive
This was
summaries.
the drive chart. Okay. Punt, miss field goal, punt, half, punt, fumble, punt, field goal, interception, punt, fumble for a 3-0 final Vikings.
Oh, I did see that final score.
Yeah.
That's
So it can get worse, and it did.
This is why, like, I have no love for Green Bay under any circumstances, but like when the Vikings do well and the Lions do well, I'm like, these are just cold weather, Midwest, miserable fucking sports cities just like me.
Yep.
So I actually have, like, I hear that stat line and I was like, that sounds a lot like what do you mean? Like, is that a Bears game? Are you making fun of me? But it's like, no, that's just you guys. Too.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are like a slightly better version of us. Like, slightly.
Yeah.
Where, like, every once in a while, you'll make the playoffs and lose, where we're just in this, I don't know, decades long now cycle where we're terrible, except for 2018 when they had the double doink. But, yeah, like, we're like brothers in arms that way.
Eberflus might be coaching just good enough right now to keep his job, which would, I think, be the worst thing for you guys.
They had 2 coaches that had to be fired this year because of HR related problems.
Yeah.
Not a great judge of character, I would say, if you're Eberflus. Maybe do a little bit better background check on your defensive coordinator and your running backs coach. So I still think that even if they go 9-8, just give Harbaugh whatever he wants, and then let him figure out what he wants to do at quarterback. But if they go 9-8, he's probably going to end up keeping his job, which is it's unfathomable. It's unfathomable because the offense coordinator has to get fired too. Like he has to get Luke Getsy. Like he has to be fired, but he probably won't. So we're probably going to be sitting here a year from now.
You're stuck in purgatory.
You're stuck in purgatory because someone shit in a boiler room, and now they're winning games. They're turning it around now. But
I think they're going to win out. I
know they might.
They very well could, especially if they play like they did on Sunday. Like they looked good on Sunday.
The defense is kind of good now.
Yeah,
like the defense is kind of. It's
Montez
not
Sweat.
just against Josh Dobbs. Yeah.
Well, this is like you just said purgatory, like purgatory hell. This is what we dealt with fucking Zimmer for a few years. Where everybody wanted
him though.
Yeah,
from afar.
I wasn't like super always on the board until the very end, like fire him now, because I always kind of liked him. He was just a hard nosed coach. But it was getting there in the last few years where I wouldn't be opposed if he gets fired, but he'd always just hang around in there. We'd always go 9-8 or 8-8, 9-7, and maybe barely make a playoff here and there on a year where he was on the hot seat.
Then he did the eye patch thing.
That's like. I would hire him tomorrow.
His fucking
his eye patch. So there's so at the Minnesota State Fair there is a Vikings mini museum tent where there's kind of like memorabilia and relics. His fucking eye patch is in a glass case.
It's probably not there anymore.
How much did it go for?
I don't know if they even sold it, but it was just on display. It wasn't even for auction. Like someone kept that thing.
That's like I need like the Pawn Stars guys on that immediately. Yeah, like how do you put value on like 40,000?
Yeah.
Well, I never won a Super Bowl, but that eye patch is iconic. I bet someone would pay $10,000 for that eye patch.
And then it was COVID, so he had the face mask too. That was like it's like this guy he should be up in the booth at this point.
The creature, that was like that's what I mean. Like how, and then they had good defenses, and it's like Kirk Cousins go like do your best. If Teddy Bridgewater doesn't get hurt. I think that's a different story for that team because he was starting to look like a good quarterback.
Right. Now an insult stat for the Bears wasn't the game on Monday night where you beat us the first time that the Bears have won in the NFC North after Ryan Poles was quoted saying, "We're going to take the North and never give it back."
Correct.
They've
doubled.
They've broken that.
Yeah, and doubled it.
Yeah,
on a streak. Yeah, they beat the Lions too. So. That was quite the comment. It was there, and it was also the first time they've won back-to-back games. Like how do you go 30-something games, or what is the number? I don't know, almost 30 games without going back-to-back once. Yeah, it's preposterous that they haven't been like. What team can do that? What team can say that over a 2-year period they can't win back-to-back games? And it's not like they were playing murderers row,
right?
Like they were playing bad teams. They had one of the easiest schedules in the league this year. And that's the thing. Like they had that game against the Broncos where they're up like 28-3, found a way to lose. And then there was one other game. Oh, the other Lions game.
I was going to say that one was a killer for us, especially because we needed the Bears to win that one bad.
Bears are up 13 with like 2.5 minutes left and lost that game. If not for those like catastrophic, like how does this happen type of loss where they had like a 98% chance of winning and they found ways to lose, they'd be like 7-6 and in the driver's seat for a playoff game.
They'd be right in it with the Vikings right now.
Right?
Yeah.
7-6 Josh Dobbs / Nick Mullins /
Jaron Hall / Kirk Cousins. We've had 4
team.
different starters, and like
that's like a Bears insult stat right there too. Where I think there are more years in the last 30 where they've started 3 different guys than had one guy play the whole year.
Jeez.
So I think Cutler played one year where he played 16 games. Other than that, it's been at least 2, most of the very often 3. We have a shirt that just says "sad" in Bears font, and on the back it's every quarterback, it's like 50 guys who have started a game since Brett Favre got to Green Bay. So like 91. From 91 or 92 until now, and like we could update it because
you got Tyson Bagent on there too. Now you can throw
add it to the list.
Like Chase Daniel, I think is on there twice.
Peterman,
maybe.
Nathan Peterman,
Nathan Peterman. Like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's like the Browns, they're like the meme for that, but the Bears I think are right there with them.
Well, the Vikings, we definitely could be up there too, but I would think we're like probably a number 3 or number 4 behind the Bears and Browns because we've had years where we've had quarterbacks that shouldn't be starting the whole year but keep going. But we've had our numbers of guys too. It's been
I've
bad.
hated Sean Mannion for like 10 years now. I used to hate him in Oregon State, where I'd like be betting some Pac-12 game, and I'd be betting against Sean Mannion or on him. I was always on the wrong side of every Sean Mannion bet, and it's like every time I see his name now, I get like a little triggered.
We get triggered here.
We get triggered. Being on the wrong side of Sean Mannion is being on his side now. He actually has been in and out of the Vikings organization like multiple times now. He played 2 games like 2 years ago and was so bad that they sent him down to the practice squad. Then he got cut, and then like just a few months ago, he just out of nowhere got signed to the practice squad again. Like he's an old dog. He just keeps coming.
That's
home.
like one of those things where like, do we know anybody that still has the playbook?
Yeah.
Like, Sean Mannion.
Yeah.
He's like a hoarder, weird guy. Let's just call him up, see what he's doing.
He's at the bar right now.
Now he's in Seattle. They just picked him up like this.
Really? Why?
Now?
Yeah.
I just don't get. I hated him because I've never met the guy, but he looked like a guy you just pick up out of a fucking bar that played maybe football with his buddies on Thanksgiving, and he came in for when Kirk had COVID a couple years ago in Green Bay, and he looked just as bad.
He couldn't throw more than like 20 yards.
Mike Zimmer, I guess, loved him. So that's why, Mike Zimmer got fired. We're going to see the last of him. And then, sure enough, Sean Mannion signed a practice squad. I'm like,
I think there's someone, he's got dirt on someone in the organization. And he just kind of, every time he runs out of money, he keeps coming back and throws that threat out there, and the Wolves bring him back in.
I'm your practice squad guy. You better bring me back. So it reveals some shit.
You would think that he would have made enough money now that he's like, whatever they pay practice squad guys, he's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
What is he on, like year 8 in the NFL?
Yeah.
I can't.
He does. He looks like a guy who goes out and he looks like he never left his hometown, and just that Wednesday is like his Super Bowl before Thanksgiving. Like he's gonna go out and just get blacked out and just creep out everyone at the bar.
Yeah,
like that's kind of what he does look like. But
that's his vibe.
Yeah, he just keeps showing up. I don't know. It's funny. Talking a little bit of hockey. So Bedard. I mean, obviously, everyone expected him to be good, but he's amazing, especially with some of the people around him.
Yeah, they're a minor league team for sure. Like the Seth Jones got hurt, so they're playing. We're recording this before the game starts, but we're playing up at Edmonton tonight. They're gonna have 4 rookies on defense tonight, and then one of the guys who's not a rookie is Nikita Zaitsev, who they basically were just like, give us a draft pick and we'll take this bum off your roster, Ottawa, because he makes $4 million. So they have a guy that nobody wants to play in the entire league, and then 4 rookies, and only 2 of those rookies are good. So like their defense is abysmal, and their forwards are pretty terrible too. So they have on the team right now, they probably have 3 to 4 guys who will be on the roster when they're theoretically good again. Like they got, like Bedard's been great. He's been in some ways better than I thought he would be. But we got a long road to hoe here because this team absolutely fucking stinks. I thought they would be fun to watch. We're gonna win, we're gonna lose 5-3, and Bedard will get a goal, and maybe they have another young kid, Lucas Reichel, who's a first-round pick. This is his first full year in the NHL. He's been so bad. Like I think he might have 2 goals on the year, like 2 goals in 20 something games, and he's supposed to be like people are projecting like 60 points from him this year. He looks like a future third line guy at best. And so it's been like this game's at 9 o'clock tonight. I'm mad. Like I'm mad I have to
that you
watch
have to
it.
stay up for that.
Yeah.
Well, we did the whole Western Canada, Eastern Canada fucking tour last week. I think we had an 8 p.m. start, a 9 p.m. start, an 8:30, and then we had an 8 p.m. to finish it off in Seattle. And I'm like, I am so excited.
I gotta go to bed. I'm not cut out for these.
Especially on a Sunday.
And it was one thing when it was like, I feel like you guys were victims of this too, but because the TV, the Blackhawks in the playoffs would have like an 8:45 local start many times and during the playoffs. And it was like that game goes to double, triple overtime. Like you're talking about 3 a.m. before you get home. But it was like, hey, that's fine because it's the playoffs and it's awesome. The adrenaline's pumping. It's not ideal, but whatever. When you're the worst team I have, like somehow they're worse than last year. Like they're a worse team to watch. I don't know how. But they are. They're it's painful to watch them. And they just do so many stupid things as an organization. I really can't stand the organization. But when you have to stay up late to watch a bad team, it ruins like your whole week because you never get that sleep back and you're like, oh, why are you so tired the next day? Oh, because I was up until 1 a.m. watching the Blackhawks lose 6-2.
Yeah.
It
sucks.
Yeah.
It was genuinely comedic how long it took Kyle Davidson to come out and be like, yeah, so Corey Perry was not fucking Connor Bedard's mom. Like,
no one was banging anybody's
That was
parents.
one of the most outrageous days I've seen on the internet in sports was when that rumor went on for so long and it was like crickets from the organization.
And like so I feel like what day of the week was that? That was like a Tuesday.
It was like a Tuesday, yeah.
They finally addressed it. I started like hearing like people like asking me on Saturday if that was true. And it's like, no, that's not fucking true. Like that that's not a thing. And then they like just kind of cut him and released like a cryptic press release.
Yeah.
So then it was like it went out of control on like Sunday and Monday and then into Tuesday. And it was like, how are you guys like, because they kind of fancy themselves as like this new age, like digital, like we're getting new types of fans and new media.
We're going to start using the Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter algorithms. Like we're going to look at the data, find new fans. And it's just like, you guys are this tech savvy, analytics driven organization. But you're too dumb to know what's going on the internet? Like, you have to address it. And this was like my point, like Davidson finally got up and said it, and all the rumors died immediately, okay? Like, the internet storm died immediately with that. There was nothing he said in that press conference that he couldn't have said 48 hours earlier when it was really picking up steam. And it's like, I get it, like, but that was like the lawyers talking. Like, you guys just have to do the right thing and like let the lawyers figure out what happens with the actual incident afterwards. But you have to protect this kid and his family's good name. It drove me like I was angry about how they failed at that. Like, you have the worst reputation for sports management in maybe the entire NHL. Specifically with things that are sexual in nature after the whole Kyle Beach thing. And you're just letting this kid and his mother twist in the wind. Yeah. Like, for days.
Your star too. It wasn't like just anyone else.
The entire future is wrapped around this kid and his mother, who I actually met in Nashville at the draft.
Yeah.
A delightful family. Like, good people, nice people. You can tell they raised their boy the right way. And they're like, she's a married woman.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're just going to let the internet drag this woman through the mud. And like, he'll be hearing about that. There will be signs at games forever. No. Corey Perry is like, I get tagged to things like with number 98 where it's, Bedard's number, but it says Perry on the back. Like, there are like, people are going to be scummy about it. And it's because they just let it fester for days.
Right.
They're the worst. They're the dumbest, worst people there are.
My biggest question is like what started that. I'm sure it was probably some guy on Twitter, but I'd like to theorize that And this is kind of like me living back to the 7th grade, 8th grade lunch table days, that it was some 7th grader or 8th grade lunch table where someone just asked, oh, yeah, what happened there? Yeah, he was banging Connor Bedard's mom. Oh, I'm tweeting that.
And then everyone starts laughing, and then someone tweets it, and next thing you know.
Then there was like that incarcerated Bob guy who I've been literally blocked by him for a decade. I never even tweeted, but he just has me blocked. I think he hates all Barstool, everything. But he was like posting text screenshots that made it seem like it was true. Ugh. And there was like a lot of things like that floating around. And it's just like, you guys have to get like put out the fire and worry about, the legal stuff later, but you have to put out the fire. They failed again.
And then there was there was the ripple effect too, where people are starting to make up quotes saying that Bedard is unhappy in Chicago and is already talking about other teams or options out of his contract. Weird. And it was like, it was a total shitstorm for sure.
Vancouver was like, what kind of trade pieces can we get to bring this kid home?
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, you guys have literally nothing, first of all. But like, if I were him, I would be pissed at the organization
for sure.
And his deal is up. His rookie deal is up. He's got a 3-year deal like every other rookie. I would hold that against them. I would hold that. I would be like, hey, I remember how when push came to shove, if you had me and my family's back or not, and you did not.
Right.
So that's the type. But that's the type of organization they have these days. Like they have no human element, no human touch at all. They
got the data and the analytics though, Chief.
Yeah,
it's probably
they got that in spades, but the building's still very empty and lifeless. I don't know if that comes across. You've seen them on TV,
yeah, or at least it's not great.
They took a victory lap when they got Bedard because like, oh look, we've sold X amount of season tickets, okay, or X, I think it was like, oh, we sold like $7 million of tickets. And it's like, oh, wow, like 7, the buzz is back. And then you find out that they had to return. A lot of them were like just like these mass bulk buys from like ticket brokers, like scalpers, online scalpers. And then when you do the math, it's like, you guys sold like 400 tickets, like over the course of 41 home games, you really only sold like 500 tickets, whatever. Yeah. And then when you go, it's obvious because the building is flat and lifeless and empty. And it's like all your analytics about finding, new audience and new fans, and we got this kid and everybody's excited. Nobody's fucking there because they don't care about the fans. They got rid of it. Like we had the best broadcast with Eddie Olchuk and Pat Foley, pushed them out the door. Everybody loves Patrick Kane. We don't want him back. We want Corey Perry instead. Great fucking call there. And they're just like, they have, aside from lucking into Bedard, they're the absolute worst organization in hockey. Like I'm pretty convinced of that.
Yeah, I'd say if it weren't for that little lottery ball machine or whatever, however they decide the pick, I think
however they rigged it.
Yeah,
however they rigged it. I hope they did rig it.
It's starting to look like maybe they didn't rig it because I think Chicago is trying to fuck themselves out of it. At least they're trying with the way you said they handled that. But yeah. I mean, it's like after all that, if you drive them away from this, that's nuts. Like
I don't think that's likely.
Yeah.
But if I were him, I'm a vindictive person. And I got I hold grudges. That's like
the North remembers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that Irish gene in me where it's like if you wronged me or my family at any point, you are dead to me forever. And that's how I would handle it. I'd be like, hey, fuck you guys, figure it out. I'm not playing here anymore. And I don't want that, obviously. He's our beautiful baby boy. We want him here forever. And he's great to watch, but it's like they're so bad and they do everything horribly as an organization. Like the way they treat their own players is not great behind the scenes either. There's a lot of complaints about the organization. So it's not what it was, and it's not getting any better anytime soon. Very down on the Blackhawks. Shockingly, I might be the most optimistic about the Bears of all the teams. Yeah,
that's that flip flop from like the last time we talked to you on the podcast.
Yeah, it's been almost a year since we've talked to you, at least here, and it's just like it's the same thing. It's kind of funny looking back on it.
And I get tired of saying it. Like I get like
you have to talk about it every day, which is
in one way or another.
One way or another, you have to like talk about Chicago sports, and that has to be. People complain a lot about Minnesota sports, and I know historically you have much more, but I mean, like the state of all of your teams, like people here would lose their mind if all 4 of our teams were that bad at the same time. It's 3 of them. It's insane.
Yeah, because Minnesota, despite not having a championship since 1991, and with the Twins being the only team we ever had a championship with, actually, we have always had at least one team every year do something, at least have a little excitement, maybe have a playoff.
I guess the Cubs were frisky this year, right? I mean, they were
frisky. Yeah, I had fun watching the Cubs, but then it was like this was the summer, or the hot stove, the winter, where they were gonna. The Ricketts haven't spent money for shit.
Yeah.
Really since the World Series. And they, you trade Chris Bryant, you trade Rizzo, you trade everybody that everybody loved and whatever. Like that was probably time for it to go. But that core, it felt like they were going to have more than one. So even though they finally like snapped the curse, there is an element where it was like, it just didn't really max out with that special of a core. But then they've been horrible, but it was part of this rebuild after they got rid of that core. And then everybody pointed to this summer, or this winter rather, where they're going to go out and spend a lot of money. And you miss out on Shohei, you miss out on Soto, you miss out on it's sounding like they're going to miss out on Yamamoto, the pitcher.
Yeah.
They're going to miss, they had Bellinger here on a 1-year deal last year, and he was great. Now it sounds like he's either going to the Yankees or to the Blue Jays too. And so it's just like you promised like that. They're very vocal. Like we're going to spend, and this is the time. This is when we press go on this rebuild, and we take it to the next level. And they went out and got Craig Counsell as the manager, but now it's looking more and more like that's going to be their big move, is just the manager, and that's not going to be good enough because the roster is not going to be good enough. I don't care who the manager is. So they're on my shit list too. And the Bulls are irrelevant.
I was just about to ask about the Bulls.
Yeah, they're irrelevant.
I couldn't tell you when their next game is, when their last game was, who's playing. Like they're talking about they're going to trade everybody from that team too. Everything stinks.
Hey, what about Chicago State basketball? Aren't they Division I?
They did move up to Division I. They're like on the far south side. I couldn't tell you what's going on with them. I know DePaul basketball is in the Big East, and they are terrible too.
Oh, damn it!
So,
the one last time.
It is what it is. Like everything about this whole city just sucks.
Chicago State in KenPom, there's 362 teams in Division I basketball. Chicago State is ranked 335.
Thank you. Yeah, no one cares about Chicago State.
Chicago State. That's what I'm going to bring.
I like the producer just pulling ready to go. It's like Jamie on Rogan.
Rogan, right? Yo, look that shit up. Look up Chicago State.
Cam, you probably didn't even need to Google that. He's a big college.
I'm a nerd. I have a KenPom tab open at all times.
Yeah, I was going to say you
pulled
DePaul
on that list.
DePaul is actually better than they were because they just shit on Louisville. But
Louisville.
Oh, they did?
Well, Louisville is fucking horrendous.
I mean, but still, they're a Power 5.
DePaul, you know the name at least.
For Power 5,
it's not a hyphen.
Yeah. DePaul's 204.
Okay,
they're right below Bowling Green.
Yeah. Right below Bowling Green in the MAC.
Yeah, DePaul's bad.
You see what? And it's like I would love if DePaul. Like, how can DePaul be so bad for 30 years now?
You got Northwestern.
But Dave likes Northwestern, and I don't want to see him happy.
Yeah, I know, right? And they're Northwestern. I mean, they'll always.
And they're not really. No. They're not really.
No,
they're Evans.
You can't take them seriously.
I would jump on the DePaul bandwagon if they got decent. How can you just not find 5 kids in Chicago? Like, this is one of the greatest basketball hotbeds for recruiting in the country, and you can't get anybody to stay.
Yeah, DePaul.
Well, I mean, it's speaking of basketball, like the Timberwolves are the number 1 team in the NBA right now. So the Timberwolves are 17-5, number 1 in the NBA. I know.
Is that a fact?
That's a straight up fact. And we're not. We've mentioned it before. We're not like the Wolves have been miserable for most of our lives, but now, they're the number 1 team in the league. A lot of people have them as final contenders, and it's a very weird time for us, but it's exciting.
So it's Karl Anthony Towns and who?
Anthony Edwards.
Oh, yeah, the Georgia kid. He was the number 1 pick, right?
Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, Nas Reed, Jaden McDaniels. It's kind of...
They have a core of guys.
It's a depth. It's a weird depth.
Here's a question for you guys. If you're at a bar on a Friday or Saturday night, sports bar, which are the Wild on TV more, or are the Wolves on TV more?
Depends on the area you're in.
I guess so. Like if you're saying they're playing at the same night, the same time.
Yeah.
It depends. If you're in like a bar in downtown Minneapolis around the Target Center, you're probably going to see more Wolves.
Big time.
Okay.
I think if you go to the suburbs though, and St. Paul, you're going to see the Wild more.
Yep.
So I would say a majority of the metro might be Wild, except for downtown Minneapolis or Minneapolis, which is pretty
Which makes
populated.
sense because downtown Minneapolis is where the Target Center is, where the Timberwolves play, and then we're in downtown St. Paul, like 15 minutes away,
XL Center is,
where the XL is, and all the Wild bars. So it kind of depends, but in any other suburb, that's kind of hit or miss. I guess it depends on.
Some bars, your local B-dubs might play
they'll play both.
They'll play both half and half.
Well, because I feel like here, like when there was a brief period where the Hawks were very good, like I think they had already won one cup, and Derrick Rose won the MVP. And when the Bulls had the number 1 seed, the Bulls were getting all the attention. And that's because like we're a basketball city more than a hockey city, even if we have a dynasty going on. So I was wondering, but I feel like you're the state of hockey. I was wondering like how that fight gets resolved.
It'd be weird to watch it shake out. I think if they were both going on runs at the same time. I mean, they were both in the first round of the playoffs last year. And I mean, like I said, it depended on what city you're in. If we went to Minneapolis to watch the Wild because one of the bars invited us out there, and we were like the only Wild fans there.
Yeah.
When we would score a goal, we would erupt and everyone would stare at us.
Yeah, almost every TV there had Timberwolves. There was maybe a couple in the area that we had.
Well, they had Timberwolves cheerleaders in there too, so it was more of a Timberwolves watch party.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, was not the.
I guess we could export some other bars, but I guarantee you they'd be very similar vibe.
Yeah.
In Minneapolis.
But then if you were in downtown St. Paul and you said, "Hey, turn on the Wolves right now," they would probably pull a gun out and put you.
I mean, they did we'd be at Tom Reed's and they would have the Wolves on a TV
on like a single TV
yeah.
out of like 40 in the bar,
and we'd still be watching it. And
for
some
sure,
people are paying attention to it, but like it's definitely more wild.
That's a good problem to have though. Is when I mean, like we want to root for the Wolves, but when they would play the same night as the Wild in the first round of the playoffs, and it's like this kind of sucks. Like it's conflicting,
No, that's. I would love to have that problem at some point. I want to say that was like 2010 or 11, and I think the Bulls went to the Hawks got knocked out in the first round, but they were, you knew that we were in the middle of something special, and I think that was the year where the Bulls went to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost to LeBron. But it was like all right, and then the next year is when the Bulls were the absolute number 1 seed, best team in the league, and then game 1 was when we had that little ACL pop on Derrick Rose, and he was never the same. But yeah, that's just more misery. But yeah, I was always wondering about that because like this is a Bears town in Chicago, and I feel like everywhere is NFL is king, but I feel like Minnesota might be the only place where hockey is more popular than the NBA.
Yeah. I'd say it probably is, honestly. But
the NBA for sure. I mean, we're a big basketball state. A lot of people care about basketball, and we produce some good basketball players. Like if the Gophers, University of Minnesota, if they go on a run, it turns crazy, but it doesn't happen very often. But I mean, in terms of the NHL and the Wild, we're
the closest thing to that, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Because basketball and NFL are just tough to compete with, but
hockey's the biggest thing. One of the biggest things here for sure.
Yeah. The last question I had for you, Chief, is what's your overly direct take on The Bear, the TV show? I think I texted you about that because I was watching it, and I'm like, I wonder what Chief and like actual Chicago guys think of this TV show.
So I watched season 1, and I thought it was like fine but weird, and I think like I like them because they did put the Barstool Chicago flag in a couple of scenes of that show, season 1.
Yeah,
like specifically like our brand. But it's like I find it difficult to watch, and then they're a little over the top, I think, with some of like the Chicago references. So I didn't go back for season 2. So I know people love it. It didn't really. I watched the whole season like hoping to love it, and I just didn't. And I also thought, like, are we doing like beefs, or are we a Michelin star restaurant? Like, it's just like, how are you two things at once? Like, what's what's going on here? Like, and I felt like part of that was my fault because I kept falling asleep. And I'm like, well, why are they being like, oh, yes, chef? Like, just make the fucking beefs and pass them like this is a beef. It's not a Michelin star restaurant, but he treats it that way. And it was always like, I don't know. It's like, it didn't grab me. I know it's wildly popular. I know I'm in the minority, but I don't know. I couldn't, I didn't go back for season 2.
Do you call your friends, or like, do you know people who do the cousin thing? Is that more of an Italian thing? I think
that might be more Italian,
cousin.
Like Northwest Side or probably that's where Eddie's from. Northwest Side is a lot of Italians, but I don't do that. I haven't heard anybody do that, but it could be like a Bridgeport thing, like South Side, right down by the White Sox, or it could be North, like a specific neighborhood thing, but that's not like very prevalent. No.
Yeah, you should start calling White Sox Dave cousin.
Yeah,
call cousin.
Cousin.
What's up, cuz? Just walk in, everybody.
Yeah.
Portnoy walks in the next time. Hey, what's up, cuz? What's up, cousin?
Yeah.
Cousin.
What's up,
cuz? What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm sure Dave would love that. He'd just roll with it. It'd be totally normal.
Yeah.
Maybe he's in town right now. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah. You'll be in. You'll be the star. You'll be the star of Stool Scenes. He'll be talking about it 4 hours later. How Chief walks in, fucking calls me cuz. Like he'll just get thrown off.
You know what? Maybe I'll do that tomorrow.
Try it.
Fuck you should we'll do it and it'll
And
be
just
on
be
the
like, it's a
Stool Scenes.
Chicago thing. You're in Chicago. You got to follow the rules.
You
ever
watch the Bear?
Yeah.
If you don't
watch the Bear?
Yeah, if you don't call me cuz back, then you gotta
That's
gotta
an
get
insult.
out of here. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an insult.
Boss
Sign of
is
disrespect.
boss.
That's not La Familia anymore, Dave.
No, come on, aren't we a family here at Barstool? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh,
shit.
man.
Well, Chief, this is a blast. Did you have any other questions for him?
Well, no, I guess briefly, I saw you. Yeah, you made out you made it out for a hunting trip. You went out hunting?
Yeah, I did.
How did that go?
I went deer hunting again. I had a shot. I only do the bow hunting. I'm kind of weird about guns. I don't really like guns.
Yeah.
Not against people having guns, for the record, but I personally get like just nervous. And I'm not good with them. So I do the bow hunting. I had a shot from like 35 yards, missed underneath a deer. That was my only real attempt the whole 4-day stretch that we were there. So we had 8 hunts, morning and night. I had 1 attempt at a deer and missed because I suck at it. I just like I'm not great. So I'm gonna try to go again before the season's out. Because I actually love doing it. I'm just not good at it. But I like being out in the cold and in the nature and getting up early and all that kind of stuff. So getting a deer would be a nice little cherry on the end of this year.
No, it's fun. It's definitely an adrenaline rush when you can get out, but it's you at least had a shot at a deer. I've been deer hunting here and there I go deer hunting every couple years and I have never even had a shot at a deer. So yeah,
You've never seen one?
I saw one, but by the time I grabbed my fucking gun, sorry, Chief, I had a
No, you're good.
306 with a scope.
Trigger word.
Right when I was about to grab it off the handle on my tree, I look over, it just fucking runs away.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you have to like move. Like that's like part of the thing that I love. That is like very hard, and you have to like do everything so carefully and quietly, and wait till they have their head in a certain position before you make a move. It's like trying to think of the word. It's almost like therapeutic in a way where you're like in the woods, like,
and it's just quiet.
Quiet. You feel like a real man.
Yeah,
and which I don't feel like that very often. No. And I don't know. I love that it's hard, and I feel like when I do finally get one, it'll make it that much sweeter. But yeah, like it's and then it's like you'll be waiting for them to walk across the field, just be watching these deer come in from 500, 400, then they get to like 60, and you're starting to get ready, and then the wind shifts. And they pick up your scent and they dart off. And it's like you've been watching this pack of deer, these 4 deer, for like an hour and a half or longer, just kind of moseying around, eating, get inching towards you, and then something happens, they dart. Yep. They're smart. They're better at hiding than I am at hunting too.
Yeah, I think you should do I think we did it, or I did it last year after I went like pheasant hunting. I think you should do like a if hunting had post-game press conferences. And I think
we do kind of do that.
Yeah.
We do kind of do that because Sydney Wells, like she does the Barstool Outdoors, and she always takes us. So everything we're doing in the blinds and in the trees is filmed. So then we kind of like get back to the car and we have the camera rolling again and explain how I fucked up. And that's
your life.
Yeah. So to go, I just didn't execute the game plan, and Just shot the arrow just underneath it, but you get him next
Throwing
time.
a couple.
The deer won this one.
Yep.
Credit to the deer. I'll be back next year.
Gotta watch the tape. We gotta watch the tape. Yeah.
His antlers will be a little bit bigger, but I got my eyes on him. I'll get him next year.
Yeah, get back to the range.
You're gonna get that deer next year. You're gonna have it mounted. You're gonna put it up next to your 80-inch TV.
That's the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, and I'm gonna watch a playoff game of some kind. For some team somewhere.
We're gonna watch the Timberwolves because I don't know.
We'll watch the Timberwolves.
I don't know if the Wild are gonna make it.
We'll see.
It's early yet, and that division kind of stinks.
It kind of does stink.
It's early.
Thank God.
Winnipeg stinks. St. Louis stinks. Nashville stinks. It's really just Colorado, and I don't think Arizona will keep playing this way. Like they're going to come back to earth a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can get that third spot. I believe in you guys.
All right.
You've been better since you made the coaching change.
Yeah. John Hines.
Yeah. Caillou.
You just got to bring a bald guy in there, and that'll usually fix it for sure.
Straighten them out.
Yeah. All right, well, Chief, thanks so much, man, for joining us as always. And like I said, I put it on the calendar. It's in there, April 7th.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to it. I hope I hear
I'm
from
not
you
not going to give you the warning though. I'm just going to tell you we're in Chicago. So get ready for it.
We'll figure out the game and the tickets and all that. But yeah, just let me know when you're in town.
I don't think we'll have too big of a problem finding seats in that stadium. Hey, we might be able to sit against the glass, huh?
You could probably buy one in the top row and sneak down. It'd probably be very easy.
That's our strategy.
That's just nuts. That's I'm jealous of that, but I'm not jealous of why you can do that. So that's where I stand.
And it's been like 8 years of this now.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah.
And Patrick Kane plays for the Wings. That's tough to say.
Yeah, we didn't even get into that. Yeah, I mean, you're obviously. I think anyone who knows you knows you're extremely upset about it. But
yeah, and especially when I don't like lying, and I feel like they're liars. And when they were at the deadline, like, we're trying to do right by Patrick Kane. No, you're not. He wanted to stay. He wanted to come back. You had plenty of money.
Yep.
He's a legend. They just wanted to move on from that era for no reason. No other organization does that. None.
Not in the NHL, at least, because those guys have longevity.
The Bruins were begging Bergeron to come back, and they're and there's but if you want to take the entire summer to make up your mind, that's fine too. We'll wait for you, and that's how the Blackhawks should have done it. And they had all the money in the world. They could have paid Patrick Kane $17 million this year if they wanted to, and still had $15 million in cap space to play with.
That's right, because they have more money. Do they have more money than any team in the NHL to spend?
Yes.
Yeah.
They have the lowest payroll in the league right now, and then they also have the cap's going up by $5 million next year, and the Blackhawks have $31 million coming off the books from this current team where they have the lowest payroll. So they could but they're just we did right by Patrick Kane. We traded him to the Rangers. No, you didn't. He wanted to stay. Don't lie to me anymore. Stop lying.
Corey Perry.
Hey, he was supposed to be the
savior.
He was
supposed to be the future.
Damn it, the 38-year-old, he had another 10 years in him.
Stanley Cup pedigree, not like Patrick Kane does.
Jaromir Jagr type player, and he fucked it up.
Oh,
terrible.
Shit.
They're the worst.
Whatever.
All right. Well, thanks a ton, Chief, for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
We'll definitely keep in touch. I didn't ask you too. Did you see Napoleon? You got to see Napoleon.
I was gonna see it, but then I don't know. I got spooked by the reviews. So
oh, really?
Yeah,
I saw bad reviews too. I went and saw it. I thought it was incrable, but
all right, you know what, Jack? I'll go see it this weekend.
You should do it.
I don't have anything going on.
See it in theaters because I went and this was the first time I had been to a movie by myself. I was just like, you know what?
Oh, I love doing it. I used to do that at my old job when I'd be traveling.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, the whole team's getting together for drinks or going to the bar. I'm like, I told the client I would take him to dinner, and then I would just go to a movie.
Nice.
Yeah. Smart move.
It's Joaquin Phoenix too. You can't go wrong with Joaquin Phoenix. You got to give it a shot.
I don't what did people not like about it? I mean, I know
I said it was uneventful and I don't know. I like going to the movies, so I'll probably just go and see it.
Yeah.
So talk me into it.
It's 2.5 hours. I do think I won't ruin it.
That's short by the movies I've been seeing lately with Oppenheimer and I feel like there was one other super long.
Barbie. All Quiet on the Western Front. That was
saw that. That was great.
Yeah, you got me into that one. That one was amazing.
Yeah, that was a great movie. Great movie.
Yeah, I think I know what you wouldn't like about it, but I'm not going to spoil anything. I think it's probably what the common opinion is.
Well, he dies in the end, I assume.
Yeah, there's that, but they focus on the love story between him and his wife a little too much. It's a little too much, but then people don't realize that you can't just afford to do action scenes for 2.5 hours. That's the action scenes kick ass. But that shit's
Right.
expensive, right? So it's like,
Yeah. Not everybody can be the 300. I feel like the 300 is the only one they're just like, let's just murder people. for a couple hours.
That they did that one in slow motion though. That's how they got away with
Yeah,
it.
that's true too. Yeah, it was all CGI and shit.
What was it? It was like if you sped up the 300 and didn't use any slow motion, it would be like less than an hour long or
Yeah.
something.
45-minute movie. Yeah.
Fucking 300.
Yep. All right. Well, you talk
Yeah.
into it. I'll see you
All
on
right.
Saturday.
Yeah. Let me know what you think of it.
You can do
All
the
right, we'll
double.
do.
You can do the double feature too. You can go watch Napoleon and then go home and watch Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah. Whichever one you like better.
I liked that movie from 20 years ago. That was 20 years ago, probably,
Yeah,
right?
which is crazy.
2005?
04.
Indie,
Yeah, around
I
that.
know.
indie film, which
Yeah.
is even nuts.
Uncle
to think
Rico.
about.
Gotta love it.
Uncle Rico.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, seriously, appreciate you always hopping on. Yeah, let me know what you
course.
think of Napoleon. I bet you'll like it.
Yep, I will. Thanks, boys. That was fun.
All right,
Yeah, Chief. We'll stay in
see you,
touch.
Chief.
All right. Have a good night.
Peace.
You too. See ya.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we say it every week. We have a kick-ass store. We have people who work hard behind the scenes to put out awesome merch. It's Christmas time. I've gotten a lot of requests on certain things that people want brought back. The gritty hats are coming back. There's a ton of awesome Viking stuff in there now. But better yet, we're getting into the Wolves game. We've always said it. We're not basketball guys. We're figuring it out as we go. We've released our first piece of Wolves merch. Popular demand. Just says Nas Reed. That's it. And that's all it needs to say because Nas Reed. That's why. So make sure to go to 10ktakesmn.com, click the shop tab. You can view the various collections we have from hockey to football to basketball now and just general 10K stuff. So once again, if you're looking for a great Christmas gift idea, if you're looking to support us, if you're looking to support your favorite local teams, go to 10ktakesmn.com, click the shop tab for more. All right, welcome back. Kick-ass interview with our friend Barstool Chief. As always, we're gonna make it down to Chicago. I put it on the calendar. It's gonna happen,
We have to do it.
even if it's just a few of us.
I know.
We're gonna go there, and we're gonna watch the game. He's gonna have the 80-inch TV by then. It's gonna be good. But all right, let's close out the show with the Underdog Pick'em bit and bit of the week before we jump into the Underdog Pick'em bit. If you guys don't know what we're talking about when we're talking Underdog, when you don't know what we're about to talk about. Did the whole thing just corrupt?
No, it
No,
was a
we're good.
OneDrive notification.
OneDrive.
OneDrive can fuck off, dude.
I
I
know.
just switched to that at work, and it's causing all sorts of issues for
Yeah.
everybody. So
Yeah.
delete OneDrive. Just stop. Anyways, Underdog Fantasy. So I want to tell you guys about the easiest way to get in some action on sports. It's our good friends at Underdog Fantasy. We've mentioned them all the time. We use them daily. All you have to do is pick higher or lower on your favorite or least favorite player's stats. You can win up to 20x your money in a single night. 20 times your money. Underdog keeps it super simple to use with their easy-to-use website and mobile app. Just pick between 2 and 5 players, fill out your pick'em entry, and if you get every single one of those picks right, you get to take home some cold hard cash. It's Christmas season. Everyone's broke this time of year buying all those Christmas gifts. So you know what? Throw a little action on the Underdog, and maybe they might pay for little Johnny's trinkets. What'd you just drop, Cam?
My chapstick. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's that time of year, too. Use the promo code 10K and get your first deposit doubled up to $100 by Underdog. Once again, that's code 10K on the Underdog Fantasy app or go to www.underdog.com. All right, so we're going to do our Pick'em segment every week. We're just going to pick 3 players, higher or lower. We've been keeping a running total. Did you guys fill out the spreadsheet?
I did
I
because
did.
I'm a good, responsible
You're
adult.
a good, responsible adult. This thing is getting really depressing for me. I have gotten two picks right in the last 3 weeks since we started. I'm currently in last. No, I'm tied for last with Cam.
And I missed a week.
And you missed a week. So I have 2 points, 2 correct. Wags has 5. JJ has 5. And Cam and I have 2. So
Nice. Let's go.
I said it last week. I need to have a good week. And my 2 picks that didn't hit last week were both within 10 yards. So I might be cursed, but yeah. So I guess we'll start with you, Cam. What do you got?
First pick is Wednesday night. Creighton visits UNLV. I have Ryan Kalkbrenner under 16.5. He hasn't hit 16 in the past 3 games. And then my other 2 are for Saturday. They're both Bengals and Vikings.
Nice.
Evan McPherson over or higher. 1.5 field goals made. All they have to do is get 2 field goals. I feel like that's going to happen because everyone gets field goals on us, unless you're the Raiders. And then I went with a spicy one. Nick Mullins over 1.5 or higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Big Dick
Our
Nick.
big
I
Dick
like
Nick.
that one.
Yep.
It's spicy
That's
too.
Jake's dick.
It is.
I don't want Jake's dick.
Oh.
Well, it is. I do have that dick pic because
Oh.
I also have the big dick Nick. I do have the big.
Oh,
Nick
you have
Nick
his dick
Mullins
pic? He's got the
pic.
dick
It's
pic.
It's play on words because I do have that same pick. I have that Dick pick.
Big Dick
You have his
Nick.
dick
The Big
pick.
Dick Nick pick of Nick Mullins higher than 1.5 passing TDs.
The FBI has entered the chat.
Yeah, they have entered the chat. Fuck.
All right. Well,
All right, well,
what are your picks?
Fuck. But no, going off of that, I guess the transition to my pick. I also have Nick Mullins higher than 1.5 passing TDs. It's one of the spicy picks where you get the boosted payout in underdog. I also have Michael Pittman Jr. higher than 76.5 receiving yards. He's been going off. They're playing Pittsburgh. I think he can do that against Pittsburgh.
The Minshew mania he's bound for a comeback. Every time he has a shit game like he did on Sunday, he comes back and balls out.
I know.
Non-biased Colts fan opinion there.
Exactly. And then Keenan Allen, I have higher than a half rush or receiving TD. He's been kind of cold on that, but he's due for one. That's also a spicy pick. So you know what? The payout is boosted even more. So those are the three I'm taking from the Underdog app. And then I know Wags couldn't be here, but I got his picks as well. I could announce them really quick if you want them.
Yeah.
Just to see what he has. He has Patrick Mahomes higher than 260.5 passing yards. Gross, because fuck Patrick Mahomes, but he might be mad, so he might go off on that. Gardner,
I'm him.
Yeah, the refs don't want to fuck, blah, 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 blah. They don't want to fuck with me. Gardner Minshew, the second, 233.5 passing yards, higher than that. And then Austin Eckler, a spicy pick, over or higher than a half rushing or receiving TD, so just needs to get a rushing or receiving TD.
So who's playing quarterback for the Chargers now?
Easton Stick.
Easton Stick.
North Dakota State product.
Easton Stick is his name?
Yeah.
Easton
I
Dick.
remember when the Colts had Jacob Easton, but that's a different guy.
Totally.
So the quarterback
Easton
the
Stick.
quarterback thing is just hilarious this year.
The NFL sucks.
It kind of is. Tom Brady was right. This is a shit product right now.
Brady.
It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough that we don't even get to watch Kirk Cousins. We've been stolen from a lot of great games because of quarterback injuries, which actually brings me to my first pick. I have Zach Wilson higher than 198.5 passing yards.
That'll end well.
It probably won't, but dude, he fucking balled out last week against a better defense than he's playing this week. I have Christian McCaffrey higher than 86.5 rushing yards against the Cardinals. I think that's going to be a very run-heavy game. They're going to destroy him, and McCaffrey's just going to run a lot. And finally, Jake Browning lower than 235.5 passing yards against the Vikings. Listen, I like the Vikings. I like the Colts. I watched Jake Browning carve up the Colts last week. This was an anger pick. I'm fucking mad. I'm mad that Jake Browning went out there and did that. And I really hope that Brian Flores used all the film from last week to find out what the Colts did wrong and shuts that fucking guy down.
Because it's Jake Browning.
It's Jake fucking Browning.
I remember when he was
It's Jake fucking Browning. I'm sorry. It's funny because the stat around Jake Browning is he had more touchdown passes in high school than any current NFL quarterback right now. Of all the backups, of all the starters, Jake Browning in high school was the best, which I know doesn't really say a lot, but it's just hilarious that like now he's tearing up the NFL, or at least tore up the Colts. So we need to stop the whole Jake Browning thing. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the Bengals being good every year. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, this should be the week that we finally bring him down to earth because he was our quarter. We had him and he only played in preseason games and he looked terrible. So he's that bad quarterback is in there somewhere and we're going to expose it.
Yep. And Big Dick Nick is going to go ahead and win the game and send Jake a dick pick.
Yeah, a Big Dick Nick pick.
Yep.
I like that.
But like I said, folks, Underdog Fantasy, if you want to get in on this action, you can put in any amount of money up to $100. They're going to double your deposit. That's free money, free play with promo code 10K at sign up. All right, let's move into our bit of the week. Journalist Jake has to go play a hockey game.
Yeah, if you probably get 60 shots on me, but if I'm saving my bit for next week, so if you want to know my bit, maybe you don't, tune in next week.
Oh, look at that little preview.
Break a leg, Jake.
Jake, Jake, but I'm just letting you know. I just refreshed the document, and your bit is not on there. Is it?
It's gone because I don't want it exposed.
I was gonna say if you no, it's blank. You
I
know the rules of a blank bit though.
Oh, I guess you could, but I don't want you to expose. So right.
But it's funnier when he's here.
I don't want you to say my bit until next week.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, usually what we do
say
when
what you
someone
want,
forgets
right?
to write their bit on the sheet is we make something fucked up, but it's funnier when the person's there to react to it, so that defeats the purpose. Jake is he's heading to a hockey game. He took 60 shots on net in the last game. On Saturday, that's fucking criminal. Your team needs to be at least investigated for
They're good guys.
assisted manslaughter.
They're good guys. All right. We'll see you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Jake. We also we played that pickup game we talked about last week.
Oh, God.
Cam got
That's actually
railroaded.
part of my bit.
Okay, well, yeah, go for it.
I have two bits. The first one is the I shouldn't be here bit. and it refers to that pickup game because I was very clearly the worst player on the ice, and it was not close. 5 minutes in, I'm skating in a circle like a fucking moron. I turn around, I'm skating kind of full speed, and another guy on my team skating full speed. He happens to have the puck. I fucking got checked by him.
Yeah.
Stick went flying. I fucking got air. Helmet hit the ice. That was 5 minutes in. We still had 85 minutes more to go.
I figured that something like that was going to happen. I didn't think it would happen that early.
Dude, it fucking hurt.
Yeah.
I haven't been hit like that.
Well, and talk about accidents in the first. So during warm-ups, I played goalie on one end, Jake played on the other. And I there's like this small little spot in my pads where my knee can get exposed if my leg is at the right angle, and I took a fucking slap shot right to the kneecap, so bad to the point where it burned through my leggings and actually left a pretty good-sized cut in my knee. So I was going up, down on that all night, and then at the end of the game, I took probably a 70-mile-an-hour wrist shot to the helmet. It hurt so it didn't hurt. It was so loud that I was hearing like a ringing, like there was a flashbang that got thrown into my mask. So yeah, I mean the pickup game was a blast. Jake also cramped up at a few points.
I thought he died.
I know, he was just like, we had to stop the game, and he was just kind of sitting there, and people were talking. Apparently, he had like the worst Charlie horse in his calf that he couldn't even, like, he was shaking his leg and nothing was happening.
I know. I was standing right next to him. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's like my worst fear, is that I have a cramp that bad and I can't get out of it because it's like the worst pain in the world.
Yeah, he was struggling.
So it was funny because we went to Cowboy Jack's in Bloomington after, and like, Cam, you left earlier than Jake and I, but at bar close, Jake and I were walking out of there and we were both limping. And we looked at each other and we're like, the fuck are we doing?
I got home and I felt like ass.
This is a Friday night. This is supposed to be a fun Friday night, and out with friends, and playing hockey is fun. That's why we did it. We enjoy it. We're not pros, but like, this is what we just did to ourselves after like a full week of work, and none of us really work hard in a physical sense. It's not like we're doing back-breaking labor every day. Mm-hmm. But like the fact that on our night off, here's what we are. Just physically assaulting our own bodies is kind of bananas when you think about it. It
was insane. It was like, so after I got hit 5 minutes in, 10 more minutes went by and I'm fucking winded. And I'm like, I look up at the clock and I'm like, dude, we have 75 more minutes of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass away.
Yeah.
It was scary. My honorable mention bit is who let you post this bit. This refers to like when a billion-dollar company or a fucking well-known company posts something on social media, and it's like, you had so many people to ask and if this was a good idea and you still went forward with it. Happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
Latest example, one day ago on the official McDonald's Facebook page, they posted something that's like their new festive dessert. It's cookies and cream pie.
Oh no!
And I was like, this has to be fake, right? So I click on it. It's their actual account.
Is it still up?
It has the check. Oh, it's still up. Cookies and cream pie.
If they don't,
I think it's a real thing.
If they don't acknowledge it, then is it still bad?
No.
It's like
yeah.
But when you backtrack and you delete it, that's when it's.
I will say
that's when it's even worse.
I will say it's funny that they're just selling cream pies, but it does look fucking amazing.
Yeah, it looks great.
But it's just
that's kind of smart though, because that's going to get people talking about it much more than if they just gave it a bland old normal title.
Yeah, it was just funny.
It's guerrilla marketing, but yeah,
someone's getting fired, right?
That is wild. That was kind of like we mentioned it, I think, last week, but when Ant dropped his new shoe line with Adidas, and then Kevin Durant quote tweeted it and said like, "You'll never see my big toe in those motherfuckers." And then the official Adidas account with 30 million followers or whatever it has on Twitter responded and said, "You dusty MF, old soon gonna retire." And it was like the official Adidas account got deleted instantly. And then I'm pretty sure the Adidas account responded to it and said, "Sorry, admin thought that was their burner."
I'm sorry. I'm fucking crying. I was looking at the comments of that cream pie. Someone named Karen, this is their picture.
It is legitimately an old woman.
Yeah, she's like super old. Her cover photo is a picture of her house, like super sweet old lady. She comments, she says, nice and warm, just like I like my homemade cream pie. And does a gif of a girl getting fucking sprayed.
Oh my God. That's got to be a fake account, right?
I hope so. And then it has the grandma emoji.
But then again, old people do sexual innuendos.
Old people are horny as fuck.
Yeah, and they're so oblivious to like. You think they're doing a sexual innuendo on purpose, and then they don't laugh.
Like how many?
Wait, did you actually say that? And they're like, what?
How many nursing home one-night stands do you think happen? All the time, right?
That's a place I don't want to go down mentally right now. I don't want to even imagine just old, wrinkly skin clapping. I'm good.
They're all just pressing the fall button.
The heart rate things are going off the charts when they finally orgasm after 4 hours. God, I hope no one made it this far in the show.
Daryl, do you want breakfast? It's like, I just had breakfast. I had Janet for breakfast.
Yeah, our wig fell off.
What are we doing?
I don't know. Fuck, I haven't even read my bit yet. I was going to end the show right there. Well, this is actually funny you mentioned like McDonald's because I have the promotions bit. So sports teams have these promotions for it's always food, right? It's like if this team scores this amount of points, then this happens, and people get into it. You know, they get creative with it sometimes. Sometimes it's just hilariously like bland. I feel like Minnesota sports specifically, and this is probably every sport team right now, but have more of these going than any right now. So I listed out. I did probably spend too much time in my day researching all of our major Minnesota sports teams and looking up all their current promotions. It's a pretty long list. It's a pretty long laundry list. We have get a free Big Mac when the Vikings score 2 touchdowns in a game. Every time the Wolves make 12 three-pointers.
Wait, we haven't gotten free Big Macs in 2 weeks? 3 weeks because of the bye?
Yeah, that's tough.
Sad.
That's brutal. That's brutal. That kind of goes back to the pizza thing I mentioned last week.
Yeah.
Every time the Wolves make 12 three-pointers in a game, all fans with the Timberwolves app win a free Arby's Beef and Cheddar Classic. That one's hilarious. 12 three-pointers. When the Wild score, we mentioned these ones. When the Wild score 3 goals, you get a free breakfast sandwich with any purchase from Wendy's. Brickin' for chicken if the opposing team misses 2 consecutive free throws in the first quarter. Everyone with the Timberwolves app wins a free Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. When you buy 3 Red Barons pizzas, with a My Cub rewards card, you're entered to win 2 free Wild tickets, which that one's kind of badass. Like imagine
That's
just
fantastic.
buying 3
And Red
pizzas.
Baron fucks.
Yeah, buying 3 pizzas, getting the rewards points on your Cub card, and then just getting Wild tickets. That'd be sweet. This is the most outrageous one that I did not know. And someone who has bad vision, this one sounds way better than anything else. So think about all those promotions you just read, right? Like free sandwiches here and there. At every Wild home game, Oval LASIK plus Lens will give one lucky fan the opportunity to win free LASIK if the Minnesota Wild score in the last 2 minutes of the second period.
What?
Which, like, this isn't just like a henna tattoo. Like, this is fucking LASIK eye surgery. This is fixing people who are going blind, including me. My vision gets worse every year.
That's crazy.
I'm going to start having the conversation about LASIK at some point here. And I cannot imagine if the Wild scored one with less than 2 minutes in the second, which is very realistic. And then, like, I just get a text that says, you just won free LASIK. Like, report down here on Monday to get your consultation. That'd be fucking insane. That's a medical procedure.
That's so expensive.
So expensive, and I guess it's probably fairly common, though. Like, everyone knows someone who could probably use LASIK surgery who just wears glasses like me.
Another good one. They don't do it anymore. But back right when I first got my license, so as a broke high school student, I appreciate it very much. The Twins, the amount of like runs that the Twins scored, you get a cent off a gallon of gas at.
I remember that. I remember that growing up.
It was Holiday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then
it was Holiday or Quick Trip.
It wasn't Quick Trip. I know it was either Holiday or Super America. One of them.
Okay.
Back when they had Super America, but so like they scored 10 runs, that's 10 cents off. And then if you had like the rewards, you got even more off. It was great.
Fuck, as someone with a truck, yeah, I would kill for that.
And then another one that's different, but I still see it now, is like the advertisements that players are on. There's city buses going around this godforsaken, both of these cities, that still have a 1-800-ASK Gary Dalvin Cook ad.
I was going to say, I've seen,
it happens all the time.
That's on a billboard in Minneapolis, too.
Still.
I've seen that.
What are we doing?
Multiple places.
And it's on every bus.
Chris Lindahl just needs to buy those back.
Chris Lindahl needs to calm down. Actually, I appreciate Chris Lindahl because now we're getting Nicolette Law shoved down our throats.
And that guy's going to war with Chris Lindahl.
Yeah,
like
I'm Team Chris.
He's calling him out. Are you Team Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the OG.
Yeah, Chris is the OG. And if the story is true that he's investing all of this money into advertising so that his wife, who's been trying to divorce him, can't take it all, that's kind of funny. That's hilarious.
King. I love it.
The last one I think we mentioned last week too is if the Minnesota Wild win a regular season game, regular menu price pizzas are 50% off online at Papa John's, which that's a massive dub too.
Do the Wolves still do it too?
I don't know. Do they?
They used to, I know.
See,
And the Twins used to.
I went through their page. I know
Maybe
the Twins
they
do
probably
because
don't
I remember driving all the time and like listening to Corey Provus this summer say that and thinking it's funny. But
Also, fantastic deal.
Great deal. Actually, of all the ones I just read, minus LASIK surgery, that one's probably the best.
Yeah.
LASIK, that's one of these is not like the other.
It's also
like,
not real. Just like the split the pot's not real. Nobody ever wins that.
Split the pot is not real. We've given a lot of money to that.
No. I've never heard anyone winning that. And
think
if
it's
you
real.
have, I don't want to hear it.
If it all goes to charity and you're scamming me out for that, that's fine. But if it's going to like the owners or then fuck that. But all right, folks, that just about does it for another episode of It's a Bit. Make sure to check out our blog at 10ktakesmn.com. We're cranking a ton of awesome content out on there. Did you just hit a bet?
No, I
just
was
fist
going to
bumped.
make a stupid joke on cranking.
Okay, what's the joke on cranking?
Well, you said we're cranking off.
Oh, well, yeah, just like the people in the old folks' home. Yeah, have to crank off.
Janet and Daryl are eating breakfast.
Eating each other.
Eating each other's cocks and vagine. I need to go.
Yeah, see ya. Fucking Caillou. And make sure to go and follow us on all socials at 10K Takes. Make sure to also use the Underdog Fantasy app if you want to get in on the action. Promo code 10K gets your first deposit doubled up to $100. Also, make sure to go to the Listen tab of our website to check out all the other pods we have here at 10,000 Takes. Thank you, folks, so much for supporting us. It's a Bit and 10,000 Takes as always, and we'll see you next time.